Powerful. Welcome to this powerful call, Ancient Secrets for what do you do when the world feels dark and daunting. This is a special global healing miracle experiment call specifically targeted for youth and for young people of any age. And so I just want to, because we have so many special guests on this call, I just want to start maybe by you, everyone, just go ahead and put in the chat, where are you joining from today? What part of the world are you joining from today? And as you're putting that in the chat, I just want to say, I want to start by welcoming everyone who's coming from literally all over the planet for this very, very special call. Oh man, so good to see some people that are new friends and old friends on here. Andy, so good, brother, to see you here on this call. Where are you joining from today, Andy?
I am actually traveling, but I'm coming through Ogden right now.
Ah, beautiful.
Yes, Dr. Wing, great to be here with you.
Welcome, welcome. So glad that you're here. Lieske,
Awesome.
Where are you joining from today?
Hi, Dr. Quinn. Hi, I'm in London, England.
In London, fantastic. So good, welcome, welcome.
Thank you, so glad to be here.
Yeah, Sharmini, where are you joining from today?
I'm joining from Singapore, thank you.
Namaste.
Namaste.
What time is it in Singapore right now?
12:01 midnight.
Beautiful, beautiful. And Asin, where are you joining from today? I already know, but I'm just letting you. I want you to unmute yourself and share where you're joining from today. Let's see, can you unmute yourself?
Yes. I'm calling from Ankara, Turkey, and it's about 7 p.m. here.
Amazing. The beautiful news is I just saw the email saying that the Turkish book which is Sin, so the book has been translated in so many languages and it's been formatted now in Turkish. It's in the final steps. And so thanks to your love and devotion, Sin, I'm so excited that people all over Turkey are going to have that. So beautiful. All right, Elena, where are you joining from today?
Hello. I'm from Lecco. I'm in Italy. Ciao.
Beautiful. Welcome from Lecco, Italy. Beautiful, beautiful. Bridget, where are you joining from today?
New York.
New York. Fantastic. So beautiful to have you join today.
And I'm happy to tell you I just got the Urdu translation done this morning.
Wow, that is so cool. Oh,
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, not only the book, but the bonus videos that go along with the book are being translated into so many languages, and Bridget's been helping in a really big way with that. Rochelle, so good to see you. Where are you joining from today?
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. I'm coming in from Iowa, sending you guys so much love.
Yeah.
It's 10 a.m. here.
10 a.m. That's a little bit easier. Beautiful. Well, I see people joining from all over India and all over Europe and Asia and North America, South America. Giovanni, so good to see you. Just got here. Mexico. Joseph, I want to welcome you on this call today. Joseph Henlon. I just want to see if I pronounce that right. Can you unmute yourself and share where you're joining from, Joseph? Do you see where you can unmute yourself there? Let's see if that works.
Sorry, it's Patricia here, coming from Ireland.
Patricia.
I didn't come up under Joseph.
Well, Patricia, you are very welcome here. So good.
Thank you.
Asin, where are you joining from today? Patricia, real quick. Oh, if you can unmute yourself. How did you hear about this call, Patricia? Is this your?
I'm a regular.
Regular, fantastic. How did you hear about it, first of all?
Vimala, Rogers, and Ronnie Aiden.
Fantastic. They are powerful. If you're associated with them, we're in good hands.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
and Judy, and I see her there on the thing.
Fantastic. We have such a powerful group of people here and such a beautiful call scheduled for you today. And usually what we do, because we did a sound check before the call starts, and usually we have everyone who's going to be presenting or speaking or sharing a story in some way come on the call early. We drop in for 1 minute of silence just to make sure we're centered and grounded, and then we express our intention for the call. And today, for whatever reason, I felt like, why don't we do it all together? You know,
Before we do that, Clint, can we talk to Asin? I think you called on Asin to ask him where.
Absolutely. Asin,
Thank you.
please.
Yeah, Dr. Clint, I'm calling from Charleston, South Carolina.
Yeah, Asin, so good to see you here today. I forget, how did you first hear about these calls?
I heard about it, way back, 2005 or 6 or something like that.
Yeah, 2005, 6. And what's one way in which you feel like you benefited or your life has been blessed as a result of joining some of these calls?
As we speak, I started my 30-day mung beans about on the 14th, and I'm still going right now, and it feels really good.
Yeah, very good. Oh, that makes me happy to hear. Any practical changes you've noticed so far?
Quite a bit. In fact, my blood pressure has been affected. I saw that my blood pressure came down at least about 20 points.
Wow.
And I'm still on it. Even though you get tired, eating the beans.
Oh, fantastic. 20 points is that's a beautiful thing. So let's all celebrate Asin's beautiful thing. We're going to send you some love in your beautiful detox journey. We love you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, beautiful. So thank you everyone for taking time. It's no small thing for me when anyone devotes a portion of their life to join us on a Sunday morning for these experiences. And today you will be very, very happy. I have a feeling you'll be very happy that you've joined us because of what will unfold that even I don't know. Today is very much about spontaneous co-creation in the space of love. So the topic which was emailed out is, what do you do when the world feels dark and daunting? What ancient secrets can help us navigate life, with all the things that we're facing individually and on planet Earth right now? What secrets, what tools can help us? And today you're going to have some really beautiful examples that if you listen closely with your ears, with your heart open, I believe today's call will change your life forever. I feel like the things that are shared today have that possibility to alter the course of your life. Whatever it was until now, here we are. It brought us to this moment. And thank you, God, for all those experiences in the past. And now is a choosing point in which we can have, it's like a moment of awakening or reckoning or possibility, an unfolding, an evolving, in which we can choose to experience life in a different way that I believe is healthier, happier, more full of miracles, joy, all of those things. So we want to start by going into 1 minute of silence, 1 minute of silence. And actually, Cornelia, would you be willing to guide this 1 minute of silence? And then afterwards, sharing the intentions?
Yep.
All right.
Okay. If everyone just close your eyes for a moment and take a deep breath in. And just let your breath flow out. And think maybe the word relax. And then just let your breath flow naturally. And now let's all together take a deep breath in again. And breathe out. And really feel this community that we have created in the stillness. And my intention for today is, as usual, is actually to be of service. But today it's also particularly to have fun. And what triggered me really today was this word for the people that still feel young. And when I think of young, there's also a lot of joy and happiness when I think back of my youth. And so that is what I want to create. And I know we have some beautiful things ahead of us in this call. So let's have some joy and fun. Shana?
Yeah, my
What's your
intention today, it's so good to see everybody. My intention today is to be present, to be connected, to connect to love and the joy, and just have an incredible experience, enjoying life. Thank you.
Beautiful. And we have some real special guests on the call today. We have again with us, Dr. Blake. What's your intention for today's call?
Thank you, Glenn. My intention today is to be in the flow and to invite us all into that flow state together.
I love that. Then we got another special guest you're going to meet for the first time today. Truth, what's your intention for today?
What's going on, guys? Light and love. My intention is to continue to live in my authentic self and letting that be the catalyst of people embracing the authentic self within them.
Love that. That's so powerful. All right, Lawrence Katz, please, what's your intention for today?
My intention today is to breathe into the now, the joy, the fullness of life. This is the best time on earth ever. And I want to make sure that I'm staying on earth at 77. I'm ready to begin life. The youthfulness of being is beaming out of my soul right now. I'm so excited to be part of all of this.
So beautiful. I agree. I think this is the most exciting time to be alive on planet Earth. It's so much is happening, and we'll go more into that. Renara, please, what's your intention for today?
My intention for today and for every day from today, it is transform everything in light, in love, and spread through my creativity the peace, and make that with all of us in unity.
Wow. I feel like everyone's intention, we could, like what you just said, Renara, we could print out, I want to put it on a poster in my house, and I just want to see that every day. It's so beautiful. Thank you very much. And Levi, yes, new friend and longtime brother. I just never knew it until recently.
My intention today is to be guided through light and love, and to just bring out my most authentic self, and to bring value to people's lives through the value that I've brought myself. So
yeah. Beautiful. Everyone that you've heard from today is part of this co-creation, that it's spontaneous and we're being guided by love. A lot of it isn't planned, but it's been planned in a different way, so we're instruments of source. Now, I met Levi. I'm just going to start here, but then we're going to drop into some beautiful musical experiences that are just so fun. I met Levi I told most of you already about how I went to a 5-day immersion meditation retreat in which we were learning one of the things we're learning is how to see without our eyes. Okay. And they teach in 5 days what it takes sometimes 10, 20 years, 30 years of monks in caves to doing. That it's originally passed down from the royal family of Indonesia. They almost never have given it out beyond that, except for to some other people. And two of the people is Nate and Mike Zelznick. And they started Vibravision, and it was so fun to meet him in this space. And the reason why I think it's relevant to this question about what do you do when life feels dark and daunting is because part of the training is it becomes completely black. You have to wear blindfolds in which you can't see anything. You can't see the ground in front of you. There's no light coming through. Now, as a skeptic, even the book, Ancient Secrets of a Master Healer, you know that I'm a skeptic in many ways, and I don't like to trust stuff unless I have an experience of it or I have evidence or proof of it. The subtitle, A Western Skeptic and Eastern Master in Life's Greatest Secret. So my first question when I went to this is I bet you can see through the blindfold somehow. I think people are cheating somehow, but this is a blindfold they use when people are about to go blind and they want to give them the experience of blindness before they actually are blind so they can navigate. And when I put it on, I'm like, oh, I don't think there's any cheating on this, Then you have to learn some different skills. But the beautiful part of that whole experience is they teach you, through a bunch of different beautiful experiences that when you're in the vibration of love, and also that Dr. Ram, he would say there's conscious mind, subconscious, and superconscious. These are something he would repeat all the time. In fact, in chapter 7, in chapter 9 about the Marma, he would describe this. And I remember 3 times before he passed on, before he left his body, he introduced me to people that were teaching this skill about how do you see without your eyes, 3 times. And all the time I'm like, and most of the time it's only kids that can learn it, but in this particular case, it was so fun to be in this space. And just for the fun of it, I want to show you this video of one of the second to last days. I didn't know they were recording me. I didn't know this was being recorded, but it was just so fun to see it afterwards because even I was like, whoa, that really happened? Okay, let's do some fun. Come toward me now. So being totally blindfolded, you have to walk through an obstacle course and identify where is the open space, where's the safe space. Now, in this world today, there's a lot happening. And sometimes we don't know all the data. We don't know everything that's going on. So how do we tap into that space in which we can be guided by love? And that's really a beautiful thing. And how do you flow with whatever comes? Dr. Ram, he said, Aditi Devo Bhava, you treat any unexpected guest as if God himself or herself has arrived, and that every adversity, every difficult situation or heartbreak has within it the seeds of equal or greater benefit. So how can we trust that so completely and navigate even when life is dark? I just want to share this and then we'll go into some of the other parts, but.
Yeah, that was awesome. So you just screwed it around. That little stuff and drive, you just did that good. And to me, nice. That's great. And come on toward me. Okay, between you and me, there's the yellow pole. You can locate it. You saw it though, right? Okay, so stop here. And your front 180, front 180 to this pole. If you can find it, there's a balloon on that pole. Oh, dude, just there. Yeah, nicely done. That was the right thing. Pull your hand back down. And behind you, you find the yellow mat? Yeah, bro.
Levi, I'm excited to share with you more about your experience with that and what guided you into the space of following your heart and following love and seeing the miracles that happen. Before that, right now, in this moment, we have a couple of special guests that are going to give us a musically embodied experience. So if you saw last week, you saw Dr. Blake, if you could unmute yourself, and in which he was just asking questions, and then we would put in the chat, and then he would extemporaneously create a song, a rap that went along with those words. Now, I said to Dr. Blake, that was probably a little too easy for him. So we're going to level it up a little bit. And in this particular case, Dr. Blake, who I'm going to spotlight right now, and then also Truth. Truth is they're going to pass it back and forth from each other. They've never met before this day. None of this is planned, but they're going to have this moment in which they'll embody for us. What do you do when anything comes? Now, Dr. Blake, what question do you want to ask people to share?
Thanks so much, Clint. So our question this morning around this theme of youthfulness, if you've ever seen, I'm sure you have children playing, right? They're so embodied, they're so in the flow. And so my question to you this morning is, what is something that you do where you are in the flow? An activity, a practice, what is something that you do where you are in the flow? You are present, you are embodied. Doesn't matter, what else is going on around you. You are here and now and in that flow state. And if, maybe you're in a challenging place right now and can't access something right now, what is something that you used to do that helped you be in that flow state? And so I'm going to invite you in the chat to share whatever that is for you that you do or have done that had you in a state of flow, of presence. And based on what you share, Truth, who is an amazing rapper, artist as well, we are both going to improvise a rap based on this. And so how this is going to work, I'm just going to go down through the comments, and if you want to follow along, you can start with Lori's comment. You can see I'm in the flow when I'm rock climbing. So I'm just going to do a improvised rap based on what you said, and then I'm going to kick it over to Truth, and I'm going to throw out some of the topics from the chat for him, and then he's going to do it, and we're going to kick it back a little back and forth just to get ourselves in the flow this morning. So without further ado, everyone, if you're feeling that, can you go ahead and raise the roof for us, get us in that positive vibration? Hey, I love it. Thank you for sharing that energy. So without further ado, I'm going to turn on my beat here, and we're going to start off with rock climbing. Yo. You know I'm surmising that we going for the summit. Yes, we're rock climbing. You know I always stay counting. Yes, we gotta let that love flow like a fountain, climbing up the mountain. Yo, Bridget says that we always got that spark, cause we stay in the flow when we talking about that art. And yo, when I rap, you can see this man flow, talking old school art. Yo, that's Vincent Van Gogh. Yo, when I spit it, always feeling that power. Yo, Feather likes gardening, we growing the flowers. Yeah, just like that. Check, I used to live in France, and just like Linda says, yo, I love it when we dance, all the time. You know we in the flow, yeah, we throw it in the sky, and then we hit the whoa, smooth like that. Yo, we check that emotion. You know, Deborah said she's riding all the waves in the ocean. Yes, yo, I'm back on the turf. You know how we do it, ride the waves just like we surf. Oh, yeah, you know what I'm about. Yo, I always bench press. Brenda said, work it out, yo. So here we go, one time in the booth. You know I got to do, yeah, you know we got to move. So J Truth, yo, here's what's next. Talk about running and walking in the woods and painting. Go. Whew.
Oh, I love that. I love that. I'm gonna take a picture right here. And another
perfect.
Picture.
Excellent.
Right
so you got the
so I
topics.
can go right off my phone.
Perfect.
Yes, starting with, which is gonna be fun, starting with Esther, Dancing Nature, Ancient Healing Secrets, Sunday Calls. Let's have some fun.
Nice.
You guys can hear me okay? Okay. First off, light, love, and positive vibes to everyone. Let's have a little bit of fun. Blake, that was awesome. Listen, just to get in my flow, yes, I like to dance. Nature, every day I hope you understand. Ancient healing secrets and Sunday calls. Understand that it's in me after all. Running up to do my flow state. Let me tell you, I'ma do it in the worst way. Jumping the puddles and doing everything I need. And feeling like Moses when I walk my seats. Yes, I love you, Blake, and I love the way you rap. As a matter of fact, I had to go bring it back. So let me tell you one time, I saw that video from my man for the one time, yo, Clint, I wrote this right now just for you. So I'm gonna tell you right what everything that you told me, I'm gonna do this, forget the old me. What do you do when the world feels dark? No longer feeling like a work of art. Needing something to ignite your spark, cause you've been dealing with a broken heart. Set intentions, but the seeds don't sprout. Yelling, but nobody hears you out. That is the moment when you stop all of the help and take a moment just to be with yourself. How do you walk when you have no eyes to see? Following love in every step is guiding thee. and the love inside of me. I'm just hoping that we can live gracefully, because with light, love, and positive vibes, you can see the passion when you look in the eyes, and that's the truth. And not here to make a mistake, but if I do, I'm just gonna pass the blame. Come on.
Hey, Drew, love that. Oh my goodness. Yes, no mistakes in the flow. All right, beautiful. All right, we're going to do one more beat here, and then we will be passing it back to Truth, and then we'll keep the flow going for the rest of the call. So if you're following along, I'm going to start off with Jaina reading poetry. Yo, since I was little, a dope MC. Always tried to be feeling the poetry. Nah, I had to grow like a tree, cause we never perfect. We are a seed. Oh, but there's perfection in the progress. See how we're doing, you know that we got this. Yes, I have to tell the truth, yeah, I'm being honest. Oh, you know we feeling beautiful, no polish. Hey, that's right, cause back in the days of youth, you know we had to do it in the flow with the truth, like Lisa L said when she was rhyming. You know how we do it. There is no time when we living in the eternal now. It's going down, tattooing an art, yeah, I love the sound. When you mixing colors, got the synesthesia. You know how I spit the rap, yes, we had to reach ya. Laughing like a child, yeah, on your bike. You know it's so exciting. Creative projects are what you like, and you know you are in the flow when you cooking. Yo, mosaic creatures, I wonder how they're looking. Oh, you know I won't flex. Michael talking about that connection. Yeah, he said sex. Yo, for real, it's the truth. My mind is unraveling. You know how we do it, loving life when we traveling. Oh, yo, from the heart. You know you stay spinning and twirling. The music start with the go, with the flow. When you take a solo hike in the Forest Bow show. Oh, so, you know how I do it, give them what we want, like Truth rapping back on Fremont. Hey, you know, that's right, from the rubble, you know I rock the stubble, you jumping in the puddles, yo, splish splash, yeah, this is what we do. Move the inner body, inner vision for you. Yes, we always got the light, yo, see the insight. So come on, Truth, man, go ahead and bless the mic.
I love that. Let's continue. When you're no longer feeling real happy inside, tell me, is it the inner being that guides you? When your flow is being crushed by someone else, do you look inside for the inner help? And you feel like when you scream, nobody wants to hear. Every time you scream and you scream in someone's ear, they walk away. But listen, I'ma tell you, love yourself today. Don't worry about nobody and what they do, cause it don't matter at all. And I know when you climbing the mountain, there's gonna be times when you fall. So I gotta keep on going and understand that it's my being that's gonna make it. And the opportunity, yes, I'ma take it, cause I am. I gotta be perfect for no one else. I just gotta fall in love with myself. Cause even when it all falls down again, I look inside and find my best friend. I got a positive mind, but sometimes I feel hate, frustration. And every day there is debate on what I need to do to be the best version of me, and trying to prove it to myself so that the world can see and understand that I allow with everything that's meant for me. And until the death of me, I know I got the recipe. Heavenly is my soul, contagious as I go. I'ma do everything I can to stay in my flow. God knows I do whatever it takes, and I know I'm made by him and I make mistakes. But life is great because I choose to believe it in my mind, so I see it in my hand, one palm at a time. Everything that you ignite with the fire in your brain has to be expressed, so please try to maintain fear away from the thoughts that don't serve you, and understand, man, you got it, and it's a purpose that's for you. To realign yourself with a new vision. I'm just speaking my truth so the world can just listen. Envision a life of magic and fantasy, luxury. Try to make that now a reality. Stay up in your flow state and don't let go. Even when somebody's out there telling you that's no. Be yourself every day and put a smile on your face, because we all had obstacles we tried to escape, but with love and positive vibes, you can see the passion when you look in my eyes. To everybody on the slide right now, I hope that you manifest the good reality and shut it down for sure.
Hey, good up for truth, everybody. Hey, beautiful. Dr. Clint, back over to you.
First of all, thank you, brothers, for igniting us with so much joy and being so present in the moment to create, a flow state for all of us. I just want to say thank you so much. So beautiful. And make sure that we put either Cornelia, Jane, or each of you put in the chat how people can follow you, either on Instagram or your website or something. Make sure that's there, because we definitely want to support the awesome flow state you're in. Truth, fantastic. Dr. Blake, so beautiful. Thank you so much. Amazing. Wow. So, I'm just gonna get some feedback from a few people. When you're hearing this kind of flow, when they're just taking exactly what comes and creating music, adding their own piece and making, dancing with it. Anyone have any feedback about how you feel like that can apply in our lives when life gets dark and daunting, when it seems like the world is dark and daunting? Anyone have any feedback or thoughts, impressions, or inspirations?
Dr. Clint, when I hear that kind of stuff, it's amazing to me, because it's just so obvious that if you can't have any blocks in your mind to flow with thought like that. I mean, you have to be totally open in your mind to be able to reach for every word, every dictionary word, every thought, to match things up like that. You just have to be open. You can't have anything blocking your thoughts to do that. And that is just the way receiving and living is to be, right? Is that flow of state. It's beautiful. It's just beautiful. Amazing.
Oh, so beautiful. Thank you, Lori. It's so true. Fear and ego, when you're trying to plan based on avoiding pain or pleasure or different things like that. In the book, Dr. Ram said, fear and ego blinds us, actually. It creates more blindness. But in that open state in which you're receiving everything and flowing, even Dr. Ram said, there's no failure, there's only feedback. So just moving forward in the journey gives you a different possibility to engage with life. I love that. Thank you so much, Lori. Actually, Tara, I want to hear from you. Tara, I don't know if you're willing to share, and I love seeing the Roma Rishi is experiencing the whole call blindfolded. Nice. I love that. Tara, can you unmute yourself? And what do you feel? How do you feel like this can apply for any young person of any age? Navigating life. Like what's in your heart?
Oh, I'm not sure the original question, but yeah, you have to always carry some joy in your heart, stay balanced in your heart, and yeah, and see that there's always love around you, and miracles will flow. There's always someone who's open to you, open to hearing your story, and expressing love.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. I love it. Even both you and Roma Rishi are a good example of give and take. Different people come into our lives. And one thing I love about this community is your contribution is as important as anyone else's. And everyone that's on this call, you make a difference, and who you are and how you show up and how you live and how you love makes a difference. And by your contributing in this space, it allows us to open up different parts of our heart and our experience. Now, Blake and Truth, I don't know if you're able to share anything else. Oh, go ahead, Aaron and Heidi. Aaron, I see you there.
Oh, what's up? Hey, guys. Yeah, I think one thing that it really represents with these guys is that they're never afraid to make a mistake. And there is, like Dr. Naram says, no failure, only feedback. And so sometimes when they're going and you can see the process and they laugh through it. And it's not that there are any mistakes. You don't notice anything. It's joyful. It's exploration. It's curious. And so for them, allowing themselves to be able to be open to let it go wherever it goes, it's not going to be about being self-conscious or worried how it comes off. It's just having the joy and the play of creation. I think that is so applicable to everything we do. When you open yourself to be open to that, then not only can you have joy, but you can create so much for the people around you.
Yeah, beautiful. I see Dr. Blake shaking his head like, yes, definitely.
Yeah, thank you so much for that reflection. One of the things that I love about freestyle, like you said, I might say something in a line that like doesn't rhyme or that doesn't necessarily make sense. And what I always say when I'm working with people and helping them express themselves more is I say, it's not about getting every line perfectly. It's about what do you do in the next line? Because that line might be silly or not make sense, or not rhyme, but in the next line, I can make it make sense. I can make it rhyme. And so that is what I always share. You're right. There's this idea of, oh, I made the mistake. I have to stop. I should stop. And really, it's about saying, wow, this happened. What can I do to take that experience and help it be more in service of joy, of laughter, of fun? So I love that you highlighted that, Aaron. Thank you so much.
Yeah, one of the patients or clients of Dr. Ram he's maybe one of the richest people in all of Europe, like in terms of cash rich. And he told Dr. Ram one time, I remember this impacted me. He said, Dr. Ram, don't make the same mistakes I made. Please don't make the same mistakes I made. I have maybe everything in the world, but my kids don't respect me or love me. My grandkids don't respect me or love me. And so Dr. Ram, that impacted him, and Dr. Ram decided to commit his time to spend with not only his son, but his nieces and nephews and other kids, and created something called Shakti Parchala. And it was such a beautiful thing. I witnessed it from the beginning all throughout and saw the development of these kids to learn not just to be consumers of experience, not to be consumers, not just to go to Disneyland or just listen to music, but to become creators, so that all of us can become creators. And the same thing applies when we hear stories about scary things happening on planet Earth, about whatever kind of pandemic or whatever kind of war, or whatever kind of disease or whatever kind of things are happening. We can become consumers of the fear, or we can become co-creators of the gift. No matter what is the heartbreak, the adversity, the difficult situation has within it seeds of equal or greater benefit. And when you have that mindset that there's no problem that exists on the planet without a solution, which is something that Dr. Ram emphasized so much, a big part of the ancient secrets, then it becomes curious. You become playful, well, okay, how can I don't want to just consume the fear and then spit it out, I want to become a co-creator of the world in which I want to live. A big part of the book of Dr. Ram's whole journey, he says, focus on what do you want? What do you want? And then you'll notice anytime you're feeling upset, afraid, different things, usually you're focused on what you don't want. And if you're majority of the day of your mind power, you say 24 hours a day, what percent of the time am I focused on what I don't want? It's probably a pretty good indicator of whether you're happy or not, of whether you're healthy or not. And so turning that question and focusing on what do you want is very, very powerful. I saw Alicia, you had your hand up, and I want to make sure you have a chance to share. And then we'll go into our next little section here.
Thank you. No, it was just more of what everybody else was saying about not needing to be perfect and being present and also being fearless, and how you can apply that to your everyday life. And I find it so beautiful, like what all the calls that are happening, how it resonates with me so much in the moment, and how it was when everybody was setting their intention, how I was thinking about participating and being playful. And it's really beautiful how everybody's coming together, and your choice of words and how you're using it to lift up the vibration. And it's just so beautiful. And you can do that in your everyday life. And this is a beautiful example of that. So thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Alicia. Dr. Ram's master gave him a lot of challenge activities in which he had to face his ego and face his fear. And the first one you read in the book about how he was told to clean the toilets, and what a shock that must have been for someone who'd been trained as a doctor, especially in a culture in which that doesn't happen, finally gets permission to learn the ancient secrets. And his first task is to clean the toilet, and so then in that whole process, Dr. Ram's master says, the two greatest obstacles people have to seeing themselves and others clearly is fear and ego. At one point in time, another challenge activity that's in the second book that hasn't come out yet is actually when Dr. Ram's master invites him to come to a war zone, an area in which there's so much violence and so much war. In fact, even on the plane going to there was an area of India called Kashmir in which there's hundreds of thousands of deaths and so much On the plane was only military people and him. And they would ask him, he's dressed in his white on the plane, and these generals and lieutenants are like, what's happening? Why are you coming? He's like, oh, my master told me to come. And he's like, they're like, your master is an idiot. This is not a good idea. You should not be coming to this area. And so everywhere he went, the hotel, and then at Lake Dahl, actually, he saw a violent act where this German couple that was there on vacation was like very violently abused. Like everything was instigating more and more fear in him, until finally he had someone come to his hotel and say, okay, your master is ready for you. Come with me. And he went through one roadblock with different guards after another roadblock with different guards. And every roadblock, they're like, what are you doing here? This is not for civilians. This is dangerous. And he's like, well, my master told me to come. And they're like, your master is an idiot. He's the stupidest person. He'd just be insulting him. Anyway, finally, he gets to the point where his master is there, and his master's like, oh, tell me, what did you experience? He's like, I experienced fear. I'm scared. I don't know why I'm here. What are you doing? And he's like, well, tell me about that experience. What is fear? And I'm not going to give the full story here. I want to share the rest of it on next call. But in the unfolding of that experience, Dr. Ron was able to help separate something about how fear can blind us. And ultimately, when you're in a state of fear, you're afraid of things that could happen, possibly, that haven't happened yet. So in that state of creating that space of focusing on what you don't want and the fear of something you don't want to happen, you're actually contributing to that whole thing. When in fact, if you're coming from a different space of what do you want, it's not ignoring the conditions that exist on the planet, but it's just being a creator instead of a consumer. You're saying, okay, what do I want? And in that space, especially if you drop into the space of love, you have a totally different set, a buffet of choices. If you're in fear, you're in ego, you only have some choices. But if you can lift out of that by doing some of these practices, and we're going to do some today on the call, so Marma, it gives you a whole different experience of possibility. And the choice is yours. What do you want? And it's a really powerful example to me that I remember anytime that I'm starting to feel anxious, anxiety, the world feels dark and daunting. Okay, Michael, I want to hear, I saw you raise your hand, and then I have such a fun interview to share with you. And then we have another beautiful musical experience. You have something you want to share?
Thanks. Yes, a beautiful experience you shared. And I wanted to ask you, in the beginning, I want to return a little bit to the beginning of the call, when you said that you were at the 5-day, vision thing. And so you started to say that when you are in vibration of love, and then you spoke about the conscious, subconscious mind. And so is it like, do I get it correctly that when you are in the state of love, then you have better possibilities to see, in the darkness, for example, etc. So that's the first thing. And the other thing was, I wanted to ask you, how did it go for you? Did you see, and how does it work? Is it like that you see visually, or?
Did just my screen cut out, or was it Michael's? Can you still, oh, there we go. Let me see if I understand your questions. First of all, how did it work in terms of when you're in the space of love, being able to see? And second of all, what was my experience? Did I actually visually see something?
Yes.
Yeah, great questions. And the reason why I love that you asked that is because I think it's applicable for all of us. Even your conscious mind, Mike Zelzenek, who's the one who's teaching, was saying it can only, take into account something like a few thousand bits of information to make decisions. But your subconscious and connected with source can take in 40 billion bits of information. So it has access to a lot more. And so when actually you don't rely so much on this sense and you go into intuition training, you have certain impressions that come to you. And for some people, they can visually see it. For some people, that takes more time. For me, when I was going through that thing, I wasn't seeing, I was feeling. And I had a certain intention. And as I was feeling, and actually the reason why I love that training is because it's so helpful in all of life. When we have relationships or business decisions, or, even what to do today. And sometimes the thing that comes is just wait. You don't need to do anything. And then everything moves around you and then there's an opening that comes, you know, and all of that comes when you go into that, the intuition. And that's why when I believe all of us, you know, in the very first chapter of this book, or the very first introduction to the book, I say, you're not reading these words by accident. You and I are connected. And I believe you were led to this book and this call at this specific time for a reason. I think all of us are connected, and all of us are connected to source, and all of us have divine in us and are connected with that connection, you know, and it's not about religion, it's beyond. But when you get into that space, which is love, then you have access to knowing that's beyond your eyes and your senses and your logical brain. You know, many times Dr. Ron would hit me on the head, say, don't try and figure it out, just get it, you know? And as a university researcher, I was trying to figure everything out with my brain. Like, that's what I get paid to do. I solve problems by using logic to deduct certain, you know, like this kind of thing. And he's like, listen, Clint, even if I tell you these ancient secrets, you're not going to get it. You just aren't. So I'm so sorry, you know, because it's not about, some things are beyond mind. And the mind is a beautiful resource. It's one of the many resources. But when you can tap into that space of love and trust more and more in that space, then beautiful things happen. You feel, and it's a playful kind of a space too. Dr. Ron was so playful. Man, what a gift to be around him and be lit up every day by his humor, his confidence, you know, his excitement, his enthusiasm. And I'm so happy because on this call right now is someone that I met at that training that maybe he can share a little bit more.
One last thing, Clint, that then you say then the like step into the space of love, you feeling love and trust in the space and just go with it. Yeah, and see what happens like this.
Yeah, a little bit, and there's a lot more to it. Now,
of course,
just to say it, and the first time that I did it, I ran into all kinds of poles. You know, you saw one thing that was pretty far down the track, but at the beginning, I don't know what was happening. I was just blindfolded and running into stuff. You know, so it's also, you don't give up too early. You know, if I just say it that way, maybe it sounds a little too simplistic to just go into the space of love and trust it. But more and more, if you have a journal with you, you feel some prompting, some impression come to you, you write it down. Any kind of unexpected thing comes and you treat it as if God himself or herself has come. You start to train that muscle of any adversity, difficult situation, or heartbreak has within it the seeds of equal or greater benefit, and you become curious. What is the benefit that could be here? Then that can pop you into that space of love and resourcefulness. And so, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, great questions, Michael. Thank you so much for asking such good questions. Well, as a perfect example of that, while I was there in that space, the vibration training, and if anyone wants to know, actually, even the person who you would contact, it's very limited people that can go, but the person you contact, she's blind. And she's the one that answers the phone call, and she uses it every day. And it's so fun. Her name is Tiffany, and if anyone wants, I can give you her information. But I want to just invite Levi now to join me in the space. When I met him at this training, it was so beautiful. I just asked him, how did you find out about this? And like so many people have said about the world of ancient secrets, because he didn't even know me. He didn't know who he was talking to. But do you remember what you said at the beginning, Levi?
Yes, I said I was guided here.
Yeah.
Honestly, I was guided here.
Yeah. Instead of making up something, he's like, honestly, I was guided. And then all of a sudden I'm like, ding, ding. Okay, tell me more. And just share the story of what you shared with me.
Yes.
And real quick, right before you start sharing, I want this to be an interactive story sharing. So Levi is going to share certain things. And as he shares, I want you to also give him a gift by giving feedback on how what he shares impacts you. Does that make sense? So after he shares a certain section, then I'll call on certain people to give him some feedback on what happens in your heart as he shares the story.
Okay. Yes. So basically, you're asking me to share the story of of everything I shared with you that day at the table.
Yeah, you know, you started by sharing about even, you know, the first third of your life. There's just a lot of challenge.
Okay.
You know?
So
and when that transition happened, and then, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm a small town boy. how when I talked to Dr. Clint that day, he asked me how I got there, and I told him honestly I was guided here. I was in search for the best person I could be. My best self is what I had been searching for, and where that came about is that I early on in my life, through just some small choices as a child, I ended up in a foster care, and I ended up being a juvenile delinquent. And I came from a really amazing family. I came from a really loving family, and I was just curious. I was a super curious kid, and it got me into trouble. And that led to the way that worked in my time and era is they would just take you away from your home. They would put you into a foster care. Maybe that would work better for you. Maybe, and when you're around people that per se don't love you, I mean, who are you guided by? And as a child, I was only influenced by those around me, and that led me into joining a gang, which led into incarceration. And by the time I had got out of incarceration, I had served a third of my lifetime incarcerated. And they say that when you die, you will have slept about a third of your lifetime. And so I remember when I got out, I didn't like the person. When I got out, I had all these ambitions and goals to make my life right. I had all these blessings that I was born with, all these, this wonderful family and all these things. And I honestly didn't realize all my blessings till I had gotten incarcerated, and I met all these broken people and all these broken kids from broken homes. And then I realized how wonderful my life actually was, but I was already in a rut. And so I had these goals, and I had this ambition to really to change my life and fix everything that I had made wrong. And but when I got out, I didn't realize that regardless if the system was set up for someone to succeed or not, it really wasn't set up for an individual with goals to conquer the world. It's not set up for that. And it's and really quickly I realized that I couldn't fix my life. And I mean, when you're incarcerated that long, I was dealing with PTSD. I was dealing with a lot of things. I didn't know I was, though. I did not know I was. I just didn't know how to be normal, And one thing led to the next, and I found myself homeless, and I was sleeping in 1987. Excuse me about my emotions, but I found myself sleeping in a 1987 Cadillac Fleetwood. It was a car that I had bought for $600, and I'm a tattoo artist. I learned how to tattoo just getting in trouble and going through prison and being around the homeboys and everything. I learned how to do tattoos. And so that's what actually kept me surviving every day, was I was able to do tattoos. And this one day I drove into this restaurant. It was a restaurant that was no longer in service. And there was a guy on the corner who's holding a sign. And as I pulled past him, I looked directly into his eyes, and for the first time, I saw myself within that man holding the sign. And it destroyed me. It didn't destroy me. I was already depressed, but it broke me down. I parked into the back, and this is in Sacramento. So this is during the fall, and it's rainy. It doesn't snow. It doesn't get into snow, but it still gets really musty. And so I had my windows down a little bit, and I remember pulling into the back and catching that guy's eyes and seeing myself within him had broken me down. And at that moment, I just wanted to die. And I felt suicidal, but I didn't want to commit suicide. I didn't want to kill myself, but I didn't want to live to the picture that I was seeing every day. I didn't like my life. I hated my life. I couldn't fix anything. I blamed myself for all my problems at that time. And I remember I was envisioning a cop coming to tell me to leave I was role playing an officer pulling up and saying, "Hey, you're not supposed to be here." And I was going to freak out, and I was going to let him gun me down, and then I would be a victim of this circumstance. And I remember at that moment, for some reason, I was like, luckily for me, I had prior to that, I was searching, I was seeking, and I was seeking a lot of personal development, and I was learning about mindsets. And I remember when I role played that scenario about a cop actually executing me, you know, and whatever. I was like, yo, whoa. I was like, if a cop killed me, that would make me a victim. Why do I want to be a victim? I'm like, and I thought about the victim mindset, right? And I was like, oh my goodness. And right then it dawned on me. I was like, why is it that if you ask me what my problems were in my life, without the noise, without the background music, I could do this a cappella. I could tell you the problems in my life with full passion, so much that I could probably make you cry. I could make you agree that my life, it sucks. But if you were to ask me, what am I grateful for? Like, what are the good things in my life? And all the noise stopped, all the passion, all the emotion stopped. And I had nothing to say. I had nothing that I could be grateful for. I had to think about it. And then it was superficial. It didn't come from the heart like all my problems did and all my complaints about my life did. And I was like, wow, my life is so unbalanced. Like, I could give you a dictionary of all this, but I can't give you any of this. And I at this moment, I pulled out a piece of paper. And I from the bottom of my heart, I decided to write down things that I was grateful for. And and I was in a really low point. And so the things that I was grateful for was like the car that I was in and my ability to tattoo, and the fact that I wasn't holding a sign. And one of the things that I wrote is that my smile, that I've always loved my smile. Thank you. And I remember I just cried. I cried, but this time when I was crying, it wasn't from a point of despair. It wasn't from depression. It wasn't from hate. It was from like a relief. It was from like a release. And I think that me wanting to like die at that moment was like this point of surrendering at this moment. And upon writing those 5 things, I fell asleep. I cried myself to sleep. And I remember in the morning when I woke up, for the first time in a long time, my mind was totally still and I could hear the birds chirping. And I had realized up to that moment that I had not been able to hear the birds chirp and just anything. My mind had not been still for so long. It was so filled with just all the negativity and all the blame and everything that was continuously running in my mind. And for this one moment, I felt presence. It was totally still. And I got up and I was like, whoa, I felt like 1,000 pounds had been lifted off my shirt. And I started my car and I got to driving and I got driving down the highway. I started cruising down the highway and I was so happy. And I was like, if I could live my life like this, feeling like this, I would want to live like this for the rest of my life. And from that moment on, I started to count my blessings. And I said, no matter what happens in my life up until this point, like I just want to hold on to the things that I can be accountable for from this moment on. And so from that moment, yes, from that moment on, I started to truly count my blessings and my whole life started to change. And I went from homelessness to reconnecting with my family again, to truly falling back in love with my life again. And that is the biggest joy of it all. And to this very day, I mean, I can absolutely say from the bottom of my heart how much I love my life and how much joy that I have to continuously, and gratitude is a daily practice, is something that I have to bring from my heart. But yes, that is, thank you.
Beautiful. Such a powerful example. For those who have joined the Miracle Experiment experience, or the Miracle Experiment game, the big part of it, one of the big ancient secrets is applying gratitude every day and how that changes us. But I just want to hear from a few people. There's a second part of his story I want him to share in a moment. But right now, I just want to hear from a few of you, any thoughts as he's sharing what comes into your heart, any inspiration or any feedback or any thoughts? Lawrence, is it okay? Oh, go ahead. Oh, Jeremy.
Yeah, as you were sharing, Levi, I was just clearly remembering that Dr. Ram said that 90% of all our problems in life come from when we store these negative emotions. My words, not his. And you brought in this incredible strength to deal with all these huge amounts of challenging emotions, and you stayed with it with a great, great courage. So thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you. Okay, let's go to Leonore, and then Belle, and then Chris Harris. I don't know, Chris, if you can turn your video on or not.
Hi, Levi. Good morning. Thank you very much. You just really showed me a slice of life that I saw a little bit. My son lived in Sacramento. I know a little bit about that scene, or the world there. And I hope that your experience allows you to help other young people, young men.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Leonore. Thank you so much. All right, Belle, let's go and
wow, Levi, you've really managed to completely touch our hearts with your vulnerable sharing. And I'm so present to one of Dr. Naram's teachings of, it kind of God comes in many forms, and that God came in the form of the man whose eyes you caught there on the corner. Like he was this messenger for you for awakening. And so I'm sure you have, but I invite you to add him to your gratitude list for having been part of your amazing journey. That's only, and the other thing that I'm so present to with you is every moment is a new moment, and that you continue to, like you say, that the practice of gratitude has to be brought forth every day, every moment. So thank you for reminding us that, we never become a done deal. We just become a work in process. But really, Levi, it's such an honor and joy to have you share so beautifully and vulnerably with all of us. So, yeah.
So beautiful. All right, Chris Harris. Thank you, Belle. So beautiful.
Man, I am hearing this story for the first time. I know that we were all at dinner just recently, and you told the story to the group, Levi. And look, I've watched you work so hard at MPE. I've watched you work so hard for years, right? And I'm overwhelmed. I see now what that juice is that you bring to your practice, to everything you do. I am overwhelmed, and I just wanted to reach out and tell you, I mean, I love you, bro. I love you so much. And it's just like, I think it's love. It's telling me something like the resonance. I'm not going to say that I have a very similar story, but I had a low point too, where I was incarcerated for a while, and being able to resonate with another person, being able to identify a similar passion, is this connection to love. It's this connectivity that is totally present right now. Finding very personally what you have to live for in yourself is a precious gift. And thank you so much for sharing with us. It was very moving.
Thank you. Thank you, Chris.
Absolutely.
Beautiful. Thank you, Chris, so much. All right, Deborah.
Levi, I just want to say our stories, the details of our stories are different, brother, but the emotional ride, the challenges, they were the same. And I just want to honor your vulnerability and your courage, because at a young age, I look at you and look at how young you are. You have come to the place that it took me many more years to get to, and the gift that you are to the world.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank
You're
you.
good.
Thank you. so much.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, Alicia and then Tia.
Hi, Levi.
Hi. Hi.
Hi. I wanted to thank you so much for your vulnerability. You moved me in a way that I can't even fully express in words. Again, the details of my life are different, but I found myself in those very low moments as well. And I wanted to say to you that, you're not alone. So many people go through that. And I find that these things happen to help us get to where we need to be, and I find that the more intense and deep the low is, the high is equally, as intense, but on the upswing. It's beautiful. And I felt really grateful that you presented yourself in such a vulnerable way that gave me the courage to speak up and to mirror back to this pain that I had unresolved in myself. And once again, the calls are amazing. They just mirror so much of what I'm going through in the moment that I almost don't even have to say anything. I find I haven't had to say anything up until it's just powerful. It everything that I'm going through speaks to me at every single time during the call. And, you've given me the courage to speak out now by sharing your story. So thank you for helping me participate and be present and be fearless. Okay, thank you.
So beautiful. Thank you, Alicia. So beautiful. Tia?
Thank you, Levi. That was an amazing flow. And I really appreciate how you presenced facing victimhood consciousness.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
It's very empowering. It's
Yeah.
a very, very big shift. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
And I would just share with you a quote from Baba Ram Dass, who was the master of Dr. Naram. And the quote is, "Every adversity, every difficult situation or heartbreak has within it the seeds of equal or greater benefit."
I like that. I like that.
Oh, that's so beautiful, Tia.
So beautiful.
All right, I'm going to go to Lawrence. If you have something that you can share from your heart, I'd love to hear.
Yeah, it just really, Levi, touched my heart. It brought me back to when I was 10 years old in New York City, living in a ghetto, and I wanted to die. I was on the fire escape, and it was the only safe place to be. And I went, God, I don't want to be here. Take me away. And God said, one day you'll live in the beauty of nature and understand the connection that we have so wonderfully given you. But right now, for you to just be grateful that you have a safe space. And I can remember carrying my little switchblade and going, no one can come up and down and get me, but I'm safe. And from that place, I kept building and building and building a safe space in my heart to now I live in nature in a sanctuary filled with beauty and joy and peace and love. Right. And I know that that's coming to you. You're such a bright light, Levi. And thank you for going through all those experiences. I promise you, it's compost for your soul so that you can now really birth into your true self. And you'll help so many as you're doing that process.
Thank you.
Yeah. Lawrence actually has a sanctuary in Ashland, Oregon, in which one of his main passions, you ask him, what do you want? We're going to transition into this, and Levi will have you share this part of your story. But when I ask Lawrence, what do you want? His main thing, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but Lawrence, he just wants to help kids, who are navigating the world today and are so confused and so lost. And who do you trust? Which leaders are even telling the truth anymore? Mm-hmm. And in that space in which these kids are being born that also sometimes have supernatural, it looks to us like supernatural capacity, in which the adults don't understand that at all and sometimes make it wrong or different things. Lawrence has created a sanctuary in which he's helping so many people realize that safety is always there. And it comes from the connection which cannot be taken away. They can take our bodies, but they can't take that connection. Even death is not really that bad of a deal. The worst deal is not living your truth. and living in line with love. Like, why would we live a slow death of compromise and fear instead of being bold in love? And then I just think Lawrence is great model. So Lawrence, is there anything message you would share with any kids that maybe are listening to Levi's message or feeling some fear or struggling on the planet today? Anything from your heart that you'd add in this?
For me, the part is that all children are special, and all of their parents are needing to really let their specialness come out. Let them tell and teach you what's next on the planet. They are so coming in with new DNA, new chakra systems, planetary knowing from a cosmos that has been waiting for them to show up on Earth. And all we have to do is reach out to them and listen to them. Let them become the leaders and us be the learners from them.
I love that. It's so cool. It's flipping it. We don't have things to teach them, but we want to learn from them. What do you know? How do you see things? How can we create this, situation on this planet in a better way? What can we do that's healthier, that makes more sense?
One of the things that I always told people as I started to practice gratitude, and even this something that I didn't mention, that next morning when I woke up that night from that when I wrote those 5 things down, I cried myself to sleep. The feelings that I had, there was total silence. And like I said, for the first time in my life, I could hear the birds chirping. That was the first thing I noticed. I could hear everything was so still, but the feelings I had in my body when I got onto the road and I started going, I was so happy. They were feelings that I hadn't had since I was a child. They were feelings that I had when I was a child. And I was like, man, I haven't felt like this since I was a kid. And yeah. And I go off of that. That's it's very big in my practice.
I love that, because how much are we not paying attention to because we're only focused on a certain fear or hurt or anger or problem, instead of opening ourselves up. Gratitude popped it open for Levi. What can I be grateful for? Sure, there's a lot of stuff happening in the world in my life. What can I be grateful for? And what do I want? And Lawrence, thank you for being a great model of that. I want anything else you want to share right now?
I'm just so excited to see so many people living in the now, excited about life and allowing all the rest to compost into the world so that it can become a shining beacon in the galaxy of oneness that is so ready to blossom into the potential on Earth that we've been waiting for millions, trillions, a long time. It's here and now, and it's happening. And you're a bright light, and you're a wonderful beingness, Clinton. And smile is part of what makes life worthwhile.
Beautiful. I just want to say, can I share one personal thing about you, Lawrence? So we have a mutual friend, Dr. Ken Wolkoff, who's probably one of the most, even Dr. Naram, he would call Dr. Ken super doctor. That's his nickname, because he not only knows Western medicine, but every medical field of every system that's ever existed. He's like an encyclopedia of everything. So Dr. Naram would say super doctor. And Dr. Ken, he talks about Lawrence, like his unique situation in which he can't hold that much information, and they're almost best friends. Here's super doctor that can hold all the information on the planet. Here's Lawrence, who can't really hold very much information at all, And what Dr. Ken loved about it is that it forced Lawrence to be so much in the now, to be so present to the connection of everything, almost blindfolded and navigating life, And so it's so beautiful talking about Atiti Devo Bhava, and that unexpected, that adversity or difficulty brings an equal or greater gift, because you've developed and honed that skill of, okay, I can't track hardly anything, so let me be in the now, and in that so much miracle and magic happens. You've gifted all of us with that experience of doing that more so. So thank you, Lawrence, for that, modeling that. Yeah. Beautiful. Well, I want to go, I know VibraVision, I don't know if you can turn on your camera. I'm not sure if it's Nate or Mike or who it is. And Nassim, I'll have you share in a little bit, but right now, Levi, remember when you said you discovered what do you want?
Yes.
Yeah, and you didn't know that this was like one of the foundational things of the ancient secrets, but can you share how discovering what did you want guided you? Like, what did you want? What did you discover after that moment of gratitude? What did you discover about what do you want?
I just wanted to be the best human I could be, that I could come up with, because I felt that I had failed so much on all my blessings, and I had like destroyed everything. I was like, my only option now is to be the best human I could possibly be from this moment forward, you know? And so I had to seek that. And that was my truest intention, because I couldn't, it was too elaborate to say I wanted to be all these different things. And I just want to be the best that I can be. And whatever that is, I surrender to that, you know, and that's what that, and that's ultimately out of all that is what I gathered. Because yeah, that's
what a powerful commitment to
Yeah.
what he wants. I just want to be the best version of me that I possibly can.
Yes.
You know, and then letting that, surrendering to that and letting that guide him, whatever came. And that trusting that those breadcrumbs would lead him to that desire is so powerful, Levi.
Thank you.
Thank you. For
Well,
that.
that has led me to everything in my life since. Gratitude has led me to, again, falling in love with my life again, from truly hating the picture that I saw. But it led me to Vibravision. It led me to Dr. Clint. It led me to be here on this podcast and to share my story. And I can't be more grateful and honored for that.
Well, you're going to bless so many people in your life. I have no doubt about that, just through being authentically you. I'm just reading Cole Olive. He says, your story is so incredible, Levi. Thank you for sharing such a vulnerable part of yourself. That takes so much courage. Joyce says, for everyone, pick up a small pebble and keep it in your pocket. Every time you touch it, think of 3 things you're grateful for. This is a beautiful suggestion, Joyce. Oh man, so many beautiful things here. Rochelle, what a blessing you are to us and all of those who you touch on your path. There's people that want to get in contact with you, follow you. Can you your chat, your Instagram somewhere?
Yes, my Instagram is LV. I can put it in the chat, but
Okay.
you can find me at LV as in Victor 1 tattoos.
Beautiful.
So, yeah.
Now I see Vibravision. You had your hand raised before. Do you have anything you want to share? Can you turn on your camera or unmute yourself? I'm just curious if you have something you want to share. Okay.
Hey
so-
there, Dr. Clint. Yes, this is Mike, and good morning.
Morning.
Mike,
Good morning, Mike.
Mike was our Jedi trainer.
Well, I would just like, I think I just run the theme park, but you guys are the ones riding the rides, you know. I apologize. You guys look so awesome, and I wish I could turn on my camera. I was actually on the way back from the airport, dropping Maureen off, and I was trying to get on earlier, but I couldn't get a stable connection. And I just had a new software update, and T-Mobile jacked me up. I had to do 2 of them, and it's still not working correctly. So I'm sorry, but my video is not working. But I am definitely there in spirit. I hope you can imagine me.
Do you have any feedback on the story of what Levi shared and about being in the space of love and connecting beyond our eyes? Anything you want to share along those lines?
Well, the first thing I would just like to say is, you know, I've known Levi now for a long time, and when he first came to me and told me this story is like just interviewing to begin training in the martial art before we even opened, you know, for Vibravision, doing that stuff. He just touched me so incredibly deeply, and every sentiment that has been shared on this call has just been exactly like an echo for me of what I heard before, just getting stronger and stronger instead of fading out, but instead gaining in magnitude and intensity. And Levi, you're so freaking magic, and just love you, brother. And you know, Dr. Clint, thank you very much. I just wanted to really say, Levi, you're such a shining example of living the adventure, because everybody wants to have an exciting, adventurous life, but they don't want to pay the prices that it takes to have an adventure. Because if we had too boring of a life, no one would watch that movie, right? Someday we want to have a movie that was worthwhile, that our life meant something, and that we got everything that we could out of it. And, you know, really, in today's day and age, there are so many hardships, and yet life is so much easier than it was for our forefathers and, you know, throughout history. But we truly are what we make of it, and the choices that we embrace and the way that we do things, it makes us into a rock star or just a rock. And Levi, you're definitely rocking it out. It's just been such a pleasure to know you, to watch you make those choices over and over, and then to inspire others and travel and document all of the awesome that comes from, they say the best fertilizer is poop. And sometimes we have to go through the crap to plant the seeds that grow the magic crop. And you've definitely got it, man. And it's really, really inspiring to me to listen to you, and watching you do your vibrovision, watching you tap in, has been so much fun. Like I said, I might be the theme park operator, but just like watching you ride the ride, you have more fun, I think, than anyone. And it's it's setting a new standard and giving us all new direction. And as to that question, Dr. Clint, of how we can get even more centered and put ourselves into the right place. Like every situation, every moment, there are no ordinary moments, and every one of them is being our teacher if we are paying attention and we're listening. And the things that you were mentioning about Lawrence, and having so much going on, that he was so focused in just in this moment, and opening to that, because inside of that one moment there's so much more than we can grasp. I mean, all of this is just mind-bending to me. I'm loving this call. This is the first time that I've been able to make it on here with you, Dr. Clint, and I just say yes. You're all so spot on, and I'm inspired. So I think that's the bullseye for me.
Thank you, Mike. So grateful for you. I want to have Mike on again in the future. He's such a brother. Whenever I see him, I say, yes, yes, yes. I mean, like, I devoted so much of my life to be with this master for over a decade. Mike devoted decades of his life to learn this ancient science of vibrovision. In fact, I know many people have been posting to learn more about it. I'm going to post in the chat. This is Tiffany. She's blind and she uses vibrovision every day. So if people just have a curiosity, they want to learn more, they can contact her. I just put that there. There's feedback from a few more people, and then we have such a beautiful musical number to drop us into to complete this call. That's extemporaneous, but it's not rap, it's piano. And many of you have heard Renara before, but it's going to be a real good way to anchor everything we've learned into our hearts. And I want you to be thinking about, what did love teach you today? What did love teach you on today's call? And go ahead and put in the chat, what did love teach you? But let's first of all go to Heidi, and then we'll go to David and Asim. Heidi, you have something you want to share?
I do. Yeah. Thank you, Levi. I'm just so present to how much our kids on the planet need us. And everything you spoke about, that moment of clarity that you had, we can teach kids that from a young age. We can help them tap into their hearts, to go from their head where they worry and they feel anxious, and the world that they're growing up in. I really feel called to do more. And I know Ron and I have been sitting here saying we want to do something more. And what I do, I teach yoga and meditation in the prison and in schools. And it's fascinating to me to see these two different populations, and how when I would work with the inmates, they would say, I wish I would have had this when I was younger. I wish I would have had the breathing tools and techniques and practices to center and to get present to the beauty all around me, to get present to the gratitude, because there's an actual switch that happens in the brain. Like it's neuroscience that when we can find the gratitude and the good in our lives, we neutralize the negativity bias. And we all have a negativity bias. It's so easy to see what's going wrong, but when you can just pause and drop in and I'm just shaking right now because I feel so connected to your message, Levi. I just want to support kids, and I just want to help. So I would love to stay connected with you. I know Ron and I were just saying, like, what can we do to help? What can we do to support not only our kids, but all the kids? They belong to all of us, you guys. They're all our kids. They're all our kids. So thank you for the inspiration. Thank you for Clint focusing on the youth and the kids. It's so vital. It's so vital. So thank you.
If I could add one thing to that, we were just looking up, Levi, on your Instagram, seeing some pictures of you when you were younger in the penitentiary. And it was kind of zooming in on your face and some of the other faces of these, hardened criminals that if you just were to look through, it's just like, what are you going to think? Oh, these are criminals, these are thugs. And then being able to see you and then look in, they're all just the grown-up children. That's what we all are. We're all the children. We're all the children that have just continued to be older. And when we think about helping children, it's also with ourselves. And just talking about it, it's amazing if you look at the prison population and the school population. And without making any sort of judgments of what's happening in the world right now, but there are places that are lifting mandates for masks, but they're leaving them in two places, schools and prisons. So what is the connection there? The schools and prisons get a lot of the same food that's being served to them. And I don't know, I'm not making a judgment on it, but just an observation of something that recognizing kind of to what Heidi said, these children grow up to feel disconnected. And then we have this population of the grown-up children that are so hardened and so disconnected. And so, I think recognizing it's never too late, where we think, oh, we got to help the children. It doesn't matter what age you are a child of God. And that is somebody that always has the ability to shift that spark and that awareness of their truth and their divinity and their joy and their possibility and their gratitude. And just, Levi, we're so inspired by this. And it just has put a lot of connections together here. It's really, really beautiful to see what's possible, that no matter what's happened in your whole life, that one moment of epiphany and gratitude not only changes your whole life, but it changes the whole life of every single person around you. Yeah. Because everybody on this call, their lives have changed because you had that moment, and that also shows the timelessness of life. However many years ago that was, it's all happening right now. That moment when you woke up in that car and had that gratitude changed the lives of everybody in this call right now forever. And that you think about that within ourselves, that no matter what, it's like, just make that choice now, and everything is possible to shift for the entirety of your world forever. And it's such a powerful, powerful message. And so grateful for you. And of course you, Dr. Clint, for creating this space.
Thank you, Heidi and Aaron. So beautiful. Thank you.
Powerful.
I want to recognize that it's not so easy for some people when you're in the midst of pain to be grateful. It's not easy. Sometimes it's hard, very difficult. In fact, Lawrence, our mutual friend, Dr. Ken Wolkoff, he always says, you get there by being here. He says, there's a little curse word, so please forgive me if someone's sensitive to this, but he says, it's better to be a real human than a bullshit Buddha. He would always say like this. And you don't want to spiritually bypass things that are challenging, because that's no good. But by being here, I love it. Even Giovanni, what he says on the call today, what he learned, he says, I learned that love or pain will eventually lead us to truth of our experience and gratefulness, and to the understanding that I'm a divine being, that love is my nature, that peace is my state, and enjoyment is my right. So beautiful. Julia asked this question. She basically says, do I need to experience so much pain in order to really feel life? And I hope you don't have to, just a couple more shares and then we'll go to our final musical number. Asin, I just want to make sure we have a chance for you to share, brother, your feedback or reaction from today's call.
Hello, Levi. I am so excited, to hear you make a presentation. And I just want to tell you this, that a lot of what the spiritual teachers have taught us or told us is that the most difficult thing to do in life is to have the courage to accept a change.
Yes.
And you have met that, you've got that courage to make that change. And it is so exciting. It is a spiritual thing that happened to you, that in the future, you look back and see that that courage is not easy.
No.
And you met that courage. And all of us have got that in-depth base to make that courage. And I just want to tell you that I love you.
Thank you.
And I so much appreciate the fact that you made that courage. It is the most difficult thing for us humans to do. And I appreciate you. I love you, brother.
I love you too, brother. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you, Hasim. We need to have you speak more often. That's so powerful. David, please join us from Germany.
Okay, great. I just wanted to share. I was very touched. I had like a similar childhood, but I was already gone. Two times in my life, I was already on the other side, and even I was in crime. I know what's going on in the deep web. I have done gardening, like credit card, PayPal, banking, and like everything was involved with money. I got in touch with. I even know satanic people who have done satanic rituals and dealing with drugs. Each of this experience make me stronger for this moment, which I am now. Like I overcome so much suffering, so much pain. And so I can share my experience with all the other people and give them strength. As I'm just 2 days ago, my car was slipping around in like an ice rain, but out of my experience, I was handling the car right, that my father and I was arriving safely to home. I was in a Bugatti shop buying me new shoes, and I was without mask, and there was 3 girls. They was very happy to see me without mask. In Germany, you need to take a mask, and I got a certificate. And that was very inspiring because I was without mask, and they see somebody who takes the courage to do his belief. Yeah.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, beautiful, David. Thank you so much. Thank you for also embodying so much power and love. Thank you so much. There's so many young people on this call. Actually, some very, very beautiful young people. And it's okay, Levi, if I give you one more feedback from one very young person.
Sure. Yes.
Okay, Judy Lamar. I'm spotlighting you. She's like, the Dr. Ram, he says, what's the difference between an old person and a young person? He says someone can be 20 years old, another person can be 100 years young. And how is that possible? The 20-year-old old person is physically rigid, mentally stubborn, and emotionally dry. But someone can be 100 years young if they're physically flexible, mentally open, wanting to learn, believing in possibility, looking forward to the future, and emotionally full of love. And Judy Lamar is very, very young. So Judy, can you share any of what love taught you today or any things that you're thinking of?
Oh my gosh, this was so beautiful, so moving. And of course, creativity among the young, the music, the rapping, and Levi, the creativity is what drives me is creativity. And this is what will bring great happiness, to be creative every day, see things in a new way. But the gratitude thing is really profound. Wow. It's really profound. And I think of that, and I think of those who I know personally who are suffering, and I hope to slip it in, Oh, and by the way, what are you grateful for today, I think I'll try working that. So thanks anyway. You're just gorgeous, and this is thrilling. And 81 isn't so bad if you keep creating.
Yeah. At age 81, she is the first one to join whatever course that we have, or create in whatever space. And in fact, Jerem will have you share about the creation project with some of the musicians in just a moment. But thank you, Judy, for being such an example.
Thank you.
Like to be young at any age.
Totally fabulous, just gorgeous. Yeah, thank you. Wonderful to be around young people.
That's what I feel like when I'm with you, Judy. I feel like it's wonderful to be around young people.
Thank you, dear. Love you.
Beautiful. Levi, just thank you for being here today. Any final thoughts you want to share as we're concluding? I know you're welcome any Sunday, and we hope to have you back many times.
Yes, my final thought is that that gratitude is as simple as being irritated. And I know that's so weird, but I always tell people to, if you could be grateful the same way that you are irritated about something. They're like, what do you mean by that? I said, well, in order to be grateful, in order to be irritated, you have to have a thought that comes in that kind of irritates you. Then you're irritated, but you're not just irritated for free. There's actually an emotion that comes about that causes that thought, and then you become irritated. And it could be the smallest thing in the world. Matter of fact, it doesn't even have to be of any importance. And so if we can just be grateful in the same essence of being irritated over the smallest thing, that you create the emotion though. It's all about the emotion, because with just the words, it doesn't have the same vibration. We learned about vibration. And so, yes, if you can be grateful, like you can be irritated.
I love that. I never heard that way. To be grateful is as easy as to be irritated. If you can be irritated, you can be grateful.
Yes.
Both are simultaneously possible inside of you. Yeah, very good. Thank you, Levi. Oh, so grateful for you.
Thank you. All right.
All right. I want to go to there's a couple people I see. I don't know if you're intentionally raising your hand. iPhone 4658. Please forgive me that I don't recognize. But if you want to share something, I don't know if you're, oh, there we go. Please.
Is this is Dana?
Dana, beautiful. Please, what's in your heart? What has love taught you today?
So much. I write poetry, but rapping is another whole talent. And so I appreciate those guys so much, because to be spontaneous and to make things rhyme or not rhyme, but to just do that in public with all these people watching is amazing to me, because it's not as easy as it looks. They make it look easy, but they definitely are with the flow. And Levi, you're amazing. I don't know if you're still in Sacramento, but I was looking for somebody to do some tattoos. So if you're still here, I would love to buy you lunch and pay for some tattoos, because that was on my schedule this week, to look for a tattoo artist.
Oh, wow.
But I also have so many things I want to talk to you about, because you were so brave to bring so many things up, and it touched so many people, and so many people had similar situations as well as I have. I had a year when I was not wanting to be on the planet, and I'm so glad I stuck around, because a lot has happened since then, and just as it has for you. And Lawrence, you're blowing my mind, and you have so many gems that come out of your mouth. You said, Levi's situation was like compost to create something new. And I thought, I've never heard it put in those terms, but that's a good thing to remember. You work with children, and I was talking to a friend last night, and she said her grandson was only 1.5 years. They finally taught him to put on his coat so that he could go to preschool. And then all of a sudden the pandemic came, and he puts on his coat and he goes to the door, and nobody will take him anywhere. And he doesn't understand that there's a pandemic, and they can't explain it to him. So I was wondering, how small are the children that you work with? How do you communicate with the little guys? Or if you even work with little guys. But anyway, all of you guys are beautiful. It's been a beautiful call. And I'm so glad that Dr. Clint brings everybody together, because we all have a lot to share.
Dana, thank you for sharing. We love you. We love your family, your sister Ronnie, actually your niece Heidi, and just so grateful for what you shared and being present and sharing on this call. Lawrence, did you have anything you wanted to share in response to what Dana was asking?
The joy for me is that everyone is on the same page, in the same book, on the same line. And they all are realizing there's so much hope in our inner child and the little children that are coming onto the planet now. And I just wanted to say, if anybody wants to get in touch with me, they can go to transition.org. And the Indigo children that I worked with, the Self-Aware Youth Program, they did a website for me, and I'd love to hear from you if you have any children that feel are especially bringing in messages that you don't quite understand. I can remember when the indigo kids, their parents would come to me and they would say, my kid keeps talking about seeing through walls and walking through walls. And I said, well, have you taken their hand and tried to walk through the wall? It's like, you just let them guide us. And when you say to them, I can't walk through the wall, that's not what the answer is. It's like, show me how to walk through the wall, see through the wall. As you were putting on the blindfold, it's the same thing. These kids can see beyond our limiting minds. Their hearts are expanded beyond this planet into global, galactic understanding that the message hasn't even got here yet to Earth, and they're already receiving it. So I just would encourage you to really listen to these young ones, even the 1-year-old, 2-year-old, 5-year-old, 8-year-old, 10-year-olds. They are coming in now with knowledge that has never been to Earth before. It's such an exciting time. And yeah, I'm very excited for what's going to be coming to our planet and what's here now.
So beautiful, Lauren. Thank you. So transition.org, is that right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and then Levi, also many people that want to be in touch with you. Can you post a link to your Instagram or some way that they can connect with you?
How do I do that exactly?
You just go to the you go to the chat.
And just put it in the chat?
Yeah, put it in the chat and then everyone will have access to it that way.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Yeah, beautiful. I see that Cornelia posted something about Viktor Frankl. It was an amazing book called Man's Search for Meaning, in which he was in the concentration camp and seeing all the worst of humanity and realizing it was called the last of the human freedoms, the last of the human freedoms. And the last of the human freedoms is that no matter what happens to us, we are free to choose how we respond. And the quote Cornelia put is, between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. That's why he called it the last of the human freedom. So no matter what's happening on the planet, no matter how dark and daunting, we have a choice. We can become, like Dr. Ram says, consumers or creators, co-creators, and focus on what we want. Thank you everyone for joining this call. We'll have a breakout room. I see other people want to share. We'll have a breakout room after the music in which more people can go and share for as long as you want about what love taught you on today's call. But right now I want to go to Renara. Renara, this beautiful, amazing being who channels music. Actually, Renara, real quick, my apology. Right before that, because we're talking about becoming creators instead of consumers. And so many people in this community, like Judy Lamar had created that artwork in that bag, and Sarabjit and the whole team have created so many beautiful things. And Jerem and his team have created a bunch of stuff for the orphan kids and bringing musicians together. And so, Jerem, can you just share a little bit about this?
Sure, thanks, Clint. So in our leadership meeting about a year ago, when Sarabjit was bringing out her beautiful ideas about art as a benefit for the kids in Nepal, I thought about music. We have so many amazing musicians who have composed heartful and inspiring music that my experience is that musicians are some of the most generous people out there. And so I began a process with a lot of wonderful help from Esther Francis and Andrea and Heidi Aiden and my daughter Jamie, actually, who jumped in and started doing some artwork. And I had to go through various internal barriers myself to kind of get things moving. But anyway, it's time to launch this project. And we spent a lot of time putting together a flyer, inviting the musicians. And this is for the orphans in Nepal. When Clint basically told the story of the fact that the earthquakes in Nepal were so devastating that many, many children there were orphaned. And to, trauma upon trauma of an earthquake you're enduring, and then your parents are gone, and then the last complication is that the government was so challenged with funding that they were threatening to close the orphanages. So this felt like a more than worthwhile cause to support these tender kids. And we've had a wonderful response from musicians, and Andrea just put the flyer, which I'm going to post on some of our WhatsApp groups and other places to invite people in. So basically, we're asking people to allow us to use their original compositions that are heart-centered on the Ancient Secrets website, and that there'll be a revenue sharing of 50% of the sales go to the musicians and 50% go to the orphanages. So I'm very excited about it, and I've already heard some of the amazing music, and I wish that this goes as wildly successful. I want that. I want that. So thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jerem. Thank you so much. For those that don't know, even I'm going to Nepal to be with those orphan kids within about a week and a little bit. I go on March 8th is when I fly there. Jill is already there, knitted so many hats. And if you saw the newsletter, you saw some of the pictures of her. If you're not on the newsletter list for updates, I just put it in the chat again. Make sure you get on the newsletter so that you can get all the updates. Now, speaking about creation and speaking about contribution, Renara is such a beautiful example of that, and about being in the moment and about contributing from her heart and getting out of the way of fear and ego. You know, she's done it in so many ways, not only, you know, in helping translate the book, one of the proofreaders translating the book into Russian, which is so close now. We're just working out some of the challenges, but also in her music. And I just asked her, with all the things happening in the world right now, in Russia, Ukraine, all in our own individual lives, for all the youth that are struggling, and sometimes in this world of chaos and fear and worriness, if she could channel for us towards the end of this call, a message, a musical experience for a moment of peace. And Renara, do you have anything you want to share before you play?
Yeah. First of all, I was very, very touched by what Levi shared with us, you know, and from one side, I was very emotional, and from another side, it is such a hope for all of the youth and for all of the guys, men and women in prisons. And also, like Heidi, I know that creativity, music, and yoga can completely can help so much. I'm very happy to hear Blake, Mr. Blake, and Mr. Truth, because I know what is it, completely forget everything you were taught in the school, like rules, and such a freedom when you just decided, I will play just what it's coming, doesn't matter. It is in measure, not in measure, in tune, in not in tune. So it's not me, it's just coming like it is, you know, and that is life. That is life, and it is really doesn't matter if it's rhyme or not rhyme, you know. What is matter from where it's coming and for which moment it's coming. That is sacred. So we really live in such great time, and it is such wonderful that there are so many people gathering together with the purpose of love and peace. And there is the opposite of this energy, and it is like it is. So what I want now for this world, for all generation after us, and for all of us now. So I ask all of you just take this silent moment in your heart and really to connect what we want now for this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful place, our planet Earth.
Facebook. Okay, let me see what I can get on Facebook.
Thank you, Renara. What if things are possible that we never believed were possible before? What if deep healing is possible for you individually and for us collectively as a community and on this planet? What if every obstacle, every challenge, every difficulty has within it the seeds of equal or greater benefit? What if Atiti Devo Bhava, the unexpected guests, are really God himself or herself arriving? What if, in the words of Daniel, what if your soul can experience a dance, a romantic dance with the gift of all of life, in which this moment is as precious as any that have ever been and any that will ever come, and that you are in the exact right time, the exact right place for your soul's journey? So beautiful, Renara, as you channeled that. I just felt so much magic and joy. We're going to have a chance to go into breakout rooms in a moment. I just wanted to share Heidi, and as I'm getting ready to go be with these orphan kids, I'm so excited. And Heidi and Renara created an opportunity where she can actually channel music for you, and that all the proceeds benefit the orphan kids in Nepal. It's just a unique opportunity to have your own piece channeled, or you can gift it to someone that you love. It's truly magical, one of a kind experience done with pure love. So if anyone's interested in that experience, having a musical piece channeled directly for you or for someone that you love, then please reach out to either Renara or Heidi, and we can make sure that that happens. In fact, I'm going to start by, I don't know, Levi, if you're still on the call. Let's see if Levi's still here. Let's see here. Oh yeah, I think he's still here. I'm going to gift him, a channeled piece from Renara. So just in that space, Renara, is that okay if one of the first ones I can gift, and I'll donate the money to the orphan home, and you can channel that piece for Levi? That sounds good.
Yes. Yes. Sorry, I was here. I was listening.
Sorry?
Good.
I didn't understand what you said.
Oh, I was just sharing that you're going to be offering channeled music, and 100% of the money goes to the orphan kids. And I want to buy the first one, and I want you to channel it for Levi just as a thank you.
Yeah, actually, that was you just read my my thoughts, because that was my attention at the beginning, and after something switched, and we went where we went. But my intention was to make to Levi,
Oh, wow. Wow, thank you. Thank you.
So beautiful.
Yes.
So what do you want? What's the expression of your soul? And we're going to go into breakout rooms where you can talk about what's something you're grateful for. What has love taught you? Or what do you want? We're going to have that moment in a second. But before that, Jaina, I want you to share anything in your heart.
First of all, I just want to say, anybody that was touched by Renara's music, could you please raise your hand? This incredible soul. She touches us in such a deep way. It's so healing and beautiful and edifying at the same time. So appreciate you, Renara. I just can't let that go. There's so many people that are touched by you and you're just not seeing it. I want you to see. Everybody loves your music. I have been so amazed at the interaction, the amount of people that are so connected by this call, the fun that we had in the very beginning by the rapping and how Blake would take the moment and was in the present moment and was able to just transition that into something so fun, and how Truth was able to take it to a heart level, to really getting that connection in our heart, but was still very, very, very present. It was so beautiful. But the thing that really touched me with Levi, Levi.
Yes.
You're amazing.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So many. Not all of us have been incarcerated. We haven't been behind bars, but we've been self-incarcerated.
Yes.
We trap ourselves. The experience of our lives, the demons in our minds, put us in that place of self-incarceration. And many of us have either experienced a loved one that has done that, or been in the situation where you've been incarcerated, or they have done it to themselves. So your story is so powerful. Every single person, I believe, on this call has been touched and been able to connect in one way or the other. I was in self-incarceration. And your story was so similar. I've heard so many people say, that your story is their story, even though they weren't behind bars. But going to that dark night of the soul and really making that choice, you were at a crossroads. Do I live or do I not live? And by you choosing gratitude to free you, you released the trauma. You released that, you released all the bounds that were holding you. What a powerful message, not only for just your life experience, but you're sharing this with so many that cannot put words to what you experienced. And it's absolutely beautiful, freeing, transformational. I've just been sitting on my hands, just like, oh my gosh, this man doesn't even realize the power and what he has. He's beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you for that beautiful reflection, Jaina. Maybe Jaina, Levi, myself, we've already been on this call for feasting for 2 hours. Thank you, everyone. I know some people still have more they want to share from their heart or learn. So we will have breakout rooms. You can stay on for as long as you want to, but we'll complete this main part. We go like this, Levi. We put our hands together. We get all the energy in our hands. And in this particular case, we're going to start by putting both hands on our heart. I love me and I'm with me. And then I love you and I'm with you. Beautiful. So everyone, if you want to, you can unmute yourself and say, I love you, I'm with you. And then for those that want to stay on, we'll go into breakout rooms for a
I
short.
love you and I'm with
I
you.
love you and I'm with you. I love you, Jane. I love you, Levi. I love you, Nora. I love you, Denise. I love you, Dr. Ted. I love you, Lisa. I love you, Jane. I love you, Lauren.
Love
Baby.
you.
Love you and I'm with you.
I love you and I'm with you.
I love you and I'm with you.
Cornelia. I love you, Carol.
Love you and I'm with you.
I love you and I'm with you.
Wow, that echo was so cool. I felt like I was on spaceship heaven. That's awesome. I love you. I'm with you. We're going to go into breakout rooms. For those that want to stay, you're welcome to. Otherwise, you don't remember these principles. Focus on what you want. Stay grateful. Treat the unexpected guest as if God himself or herself has come. And whatever's the obstacle, the challenge, the heartache has within it seeds of equal or greater benefit. I love you and I'm with you. And so now you'll see there's an opportunity. Go into breakout rooms if you choose. You just click on your screen and you can go there. For those that are watching this recording after the fact, we love you. We're with you and hope you join us in the future. I love you and I'm with you.
That's what's up.
Oh yeah, Andy, feel free. You wanna share now or in the breakout room, Andy?
Hey, you know what? I want to say a quick word. don't want to take too much time. I know we've been 2 hours. I so enjoyed it. Dr. Clint, being there at the immersion with you and Levi, it was amazing. And truly, when you come in and we don't know each other. We just, even seeing each other here for what, 2 seconds on the call. But, it's such an amazing thing. First time I saw it, I thought, who's this dude, long-haired dude with the beard over here, And, it's like you start connecting with people and you start talking and we realize that each one of us has a unique story. Each one of us has a unique experience that we went through. And that part of it is the reason that we are the part of people who are waking up and seeking. And that's why we're on this call. And each one of us can share this story with the deep experiences that we had. And and I just wanted to encourage everyone. Recently, I kind of realized one thing. As Levi was saying, I wanted to be a better person. I wanted to be the best that I can be. And I noticed that the things are happening, the bad things are coming from where you're not expecting. And so to me, I realized that it is a great inspiration to go through difficult times. When I get all straightened up and I think I'm doing so well, and then something comes to me, this is a part of my next exam. This is you going when you have a good times, it's your great schooling time, and then there's a great destruction comes, whether it's your family, whether it's your relationship, whether it's your business, your finances, or whatever that could be. We take that as your test. After these tests, you are going to the next level. So I encourage everyone today that through the difficult times that we have, let's accept them as good things that are coming in our life. As an Eckhart Tolle says, whatever present moment brings, accept it as you have chosen it. I love you all. I had a great privilege to stop and see Levi at his studio in Salt Lake City right after immersion. It was a great time. We had a short 30-minute conversation, but I don't know why I wanted to come and see him out of the whole group, but I did. And now I understand. What a great time. I love all of you and I bless you. And I hope that I will see you guys again.
Thank you, Andy, for your enthusiasm. Your beautiful enthusiasm. Romarishi, I saw that you had something you wanted to share. I don't know if you want to share in this space or in the breakout room, but you can feel free to unmute yourself.
Yes, Clint. What I wanted to share actually probably would be better left for another day. I don't think this is the appropriate moment to share it. But obviously the call was wonderful. One of the best Zoom calls ever. We loved it, everything about it, the rap, Levi. I have a lot to say, but I think I'll wait to some other time.
Beautiful, brother. Thank you so much for your presence and your enthusiasm and your love. I feel it all the time. I'm so grateful for it, and for Tara and for Bodhi and all the furry friends. So looking forward to hearing more from you later then. Anyone else, either you can go in the breakout room or you can share here. Anyone else have anything in their heart they want to share before I I go into some of the breakout rooms? Anyone feel inspired? They have something they want to share? Reem, thank you so much for introducing us to Dr. Blake. What a divine connection. Oh man, that was so beautiful. I just like he's a living embodiment of such a good message that we all need. And anything that you want to speak from today's call, anything that you feel like love taught you, or anything that's in your heart or present for you right now?
I struggle with a lot of things, and one of the things is gratitude. Some of you know that I believe in a system where that can exist right now, that eliminates scarcity. And for me, the thing that I really have issues with is being grateful for what I have when I know that what I have, I have a lot, but I also don't have a lot. So I know that I struggle where I'm at, and I'm not even in poverty. So when I sit there and I'm like, oh, well, I should be grateful for this, but I know that people don't have to live with less. It's the only reason this reality is around is because our ego is still attached to specific things. And that's where I can't see how I can feel grateful for what I have when I know that what I have means that somebody else is dying, and my choices and what I'm doing is causing that.
Let me see if I understand you. Like, because you understand that reality can change if we choose it to change, it's hard to be grateful for what is, because you feel like if you're grateful for what is, it means that you're also simultaneously not accepting that things can be better, something like that, or things can be different.
Yes, and that me choosing to have what I have and to have abundance means that somebody else has lack.
So for you to choose abundance, it means that other people won't have as much. If you have more, that other people will have less.
Correct.
Something like that. And so in this system of you believe this, and this is your experience, and this is your reality, then it's like, how can I be grateful for abundance when it means that other people are going to be suffering if I have abundance? Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful. I just open it. Anyone have any wisdom, thoughts, Rochelle, or anyone that they want to speak in the space? I'm open to anyone else. And maybe Reem, you also have some idea. I see Roma Rishi's.
Yeah, Dr. Glenn.
Okay, just 1 second. Andy, we'll go Roma Rishi, and then we'll go to you and anyone else that. Thank you, Reem. First of all, I love your vulnerability, and getting clear on that much is so powerful. And so now let's see what can happen in this space. Thank you for sharing. Roma Rishi?
Sure. One of the things that really touched me so deeply, all of us were touched hearing Levi tell his story. But for me personally, I was sentenced to 3 years in prison when I was 20 years old. And it was due to my involvement with recreational chemicals that are actually legal now. I'm 73, but back then, those chemicals, those plant medicines were not legal, and now they are. And I was sentenced to 3 years in prison. Fortunately, I did not have to go. That's a long story, so I'm not going to go into it. But it was a DT Deva Bawa exactly because from that experience of being sentenced to 3 years in prison, I decided to start meditating and practicing yoga. And all of the good that came in my life after that came from the seed of that experience of actually thinking I was going to be locked up for 3 years. And I decided, just like Levi said, to become a better person and lead a better life. And so I started meditation, and then I've taught meditation for over 50 years. So it was a perfect example of a DT Deva Bawa. And the thing I wanted to talk about earlier, and I'm not going to talk about it now, but it has to do with being able to see without your eyes. And after the music that we just listened to, you said, Clint, how much more are we capable of that we don't even know? And Tara and I are very, very interested in being able to see without your eyes, which is why we have that mask that you showed us earlier. And there's much more I can explain about that, but now isn't the time. I just wanted to share with you that experience of having been sentenced to 3 years in prison and having it make a shift in my life toward spirituality and meditation and yoga. Thank you.
That's so beautiful. I see Levi probably went into one of the breakout rooms. He didn't get a chance to hear that, but I'll make sure he hears that part because I think he'll really enjoy that. Thank you, Romarishi.
Sure.
Now, in response to Reem's question, her query, her inner kind of feeling about if I have abundance, then it means that if I have more, others will have less. And so how can I be grateful for this if I know more is possible? Anyone have any response to that? Andy, were you going to respond to that?
Yeah, a lot of times when the things are coming to assessing whether I have too much or not enough, it's really hard for each and every one of us. However, in order to establish a little center gravity, a little point of where to start thinking, if you breathe out all the air that you have and you stay there for a couple of seconds and see how long you can be without it, from there, you can understand that the number one thing I need right now is the air. It is where I try to come back every time because we have a lot of things happening in our life. We have children, we have businesses, we have everything. And it's impossible to establish what is important. But what is important to me, the air is number one thing. And from there, everything else that is needed as we take, this is how we balance in the spirit, soul, and the body. That's when we balance our food, our exercises, and many other things. So wherever I am right now, I want to make sure that I am balanced by being able to share with others if I have extra. And, that's pretty much how the balance is out. What is the most important thing I need is the air. And if you don't believe me, please go to VibraVision. They will teach you if you understand. That's all.
All right. Thank you, Andy. And Reem, we'll come back to you to see if any of this is being helpful or not. And if so, how it's helping, And I want to say that, even when it comes to air, yeah, I can be grateful for air, and it doesn't take away from anyone else. In fact, as I exhale, it blesses the plants. And as they inhale that, it blesses me again. So it's kind of fun that in that way, that's a simple thing I can be grateful for. It doesn't take away from anyone. Actually, it increases.
And it doesn't cost anything either until they start charging us for it, like water.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to I see Cornelia and Dana and Rochelle. Go ahead. I don't know if anyone feels inspired to go first. You can unmute yourself if you do.
Dana, why don't you go ahead?
All right, Dana, you want to go? You got volunteered.
Okay. Well, I don't know what religion you are, but with God, he came so that we could have and have abundantly. So there is no lack. So you can have as much as you want and others can have as much as they want. So they just have to tap into that. So you don't ever have to feel like because you have something, others won't have something. I hope that you never think that way. That's going to cause
I'm specifically speaking about money and the fact that this world needs money. We as this personal development world and ascending and becoming more, raising our vibration. We tell people that when you're born into this world, you're perfect and you don't have to prove anything. But right now we do have to prove ourselves, because if we want to live, if we want to pay for things, we need to have money, which means we have to prove ourselves to receive it. So I'm only speaking of the scarcity when it comes to money. and that
Right.
the money is what revolves, and money is limited. US dollars is limited, cryptocurrency is limited, gold is limited. So if there's a limit on something that is used to pay for abundance, then by definition, if I have more, that must mean you have less, because there's only X amount of currency in the world. So I'm mostly specifically speaking about currency and how we use money to create abundance. And then as far as people going into prisons, we create the systems that cause them to be in poverty, and then we punish them when they commit a crime. That's also what I'm talking about as far as scarcity goes, is we create this world that causes people to be in scarcity, that causes them to be in lack. We create laws that say, if you go and steal, or if you go and do this, but we told you, we made you poor, we made you lack, and then we're going to punish you and send you to someplace even shittier. So when you come out, you're going to have an even harder time to do any, like, it's just the cycle, the system, the fact that, like, I've talked to people about having a world that that has no funding, that has no money, and people are like, oh yeah, that would be great, but it's never going to happen. It's like, yeah, because nobody's ego is willing to let go of the fact that it's in control. If we actually help each other, then our ego is not involved anymore. And like, everybody's like, oh, you've got to work on yourself, you've got to work on yourself, you've got to work on yourself. But that small bit of lack that we have, and the reason why we still ultimately don't love ourselves, is because we know we're not helping other people.
Okay. I have been on a prayer list with a church for 40 or 50 years, and it's amazing. Every Wednesday we get in the good reports, and it's amazing how people, when they learn to think that their thoughts are things, and when they're thinking in the terms of limitation, that creates limitation.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to open ourselves up to abundance, and abundance will come. And the less that we think about limitation, the less limitation there will be. And I can give many examples, but I know you guys are ready to go off to the break room. So the thing that I hope that you will consider possibly is thinking of abundance for all. And you would be surprised how much change that could create, and how much abundance that could create. And try and just consider the thought that possibly we don't have to have abundance, because I don't think, we don't have to have limitation, and just as a possibility for maybe a day, think that and see what happens. I can think of one lady who her family lost, her husband lost her job, and they didn't have anything. And out of the blue, the neighbors came over and said, oh, we're having a picnic. And she thought, we have nothing to bring. What can we do? And she looked in the refrigerator, and there was some pickles. And so she thought, oh, good, I'll bring pickles. So she took the pickles over there, and then they ended up having a big feast, and they had plenty to eat. And then that guy was owned a chain of drugstores, and he hired the wife. So she just in a moment had the thought that, oh, I have pickles, I have something. And when she thought that, out of that grew the thought that she had something to give. And when she had something to give, then she received. Mm-hmm. So that's just a little example. I just want to give you a little example of how easily and seamlessly it works. It works.
I get that. And the reason I'm so passionate, and I guess I get upset about it, is because this world it can exist. We have the resources, we have all the tools right now to have a resource-based economy. It's just we as a society keep choosing to let our ego be in charge. And so, like, everything that you're saying, I agree with. And this world that like, we have all the resources right now. We just choose to keep holding on to this reality and this, we don't want to shift paradigms. But like, everybody was talking about these new kids that are coming in with new DNA. They're going to shift the paradigm. And this is the world that we're going to. It exists right now. We have all the technology. We, the older ones, don't want to accept it, even though we sit here and say we want to accept it.
Thank you. First of all, thank you, Dana, for sharing such beautiful example and sharing from your heart. Thank you, Reem, for giving more just more explanation and more clarity on what's this challenge inside of you right now? What's this thing? And Rochelle, do you want to have something you want to share? Oh, you were unmuted and then you became muted. So maybe there you go. Oh, I can't hear it still. I don't know why. Are you able to hear it, Rochelle?
Hold on, let me see.
Oh, there we go. Now I can hear you.
Can you hear now?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe the machine just had to catch up. First of all, Reem, I want to honor you and your sensitivities to what is going on and what is the perception of what is going on out there in the world. And I feel your heart and I feel your connectedness to the all and your frustration and your concern. And that in itself is so beautiful. So thank you for that. In addition, there is, as Dana was so eloquently sharing, there is this idea of abundance and there is this idea of lack. And Levi was an exquisite example today of the possibility of how you can live when you have this mindset of I don't have enough and I can't make a difference and nothing is going to get better until whatever happens, right? But what he found was when he settled into this beautiful state of gratitude for even just the smallest things, this car, 1987 car that he was able to sleep in for the night. And, you know, just a few other things, when he settled into that space of beauty, just for a nanosecond, the beauty of the universe, the infinite universe opened up to him. And it didn't speak to him in dollars and cents. It spoke to him in the fullest possibility of abundance. And dollars and cents is not about abundance. It's an attitude. It's an internal energy. It's an expression that we hold about ourselves. And then the dollars and cents and all the other things fall into place. And that also can happen if we hold a place of abundance for everything else out there that looks like it's crummy, right? Everything else out there that looks like it's scary. That too is a DTD Vubao. And so if that too is a beautiful blessing and a beautiful state of abundance in some unknown way that we can't even imagine, we just know that the infinite universe is providing this beauty for us. And we don't have to know how. And we don't have to know how to create something different. We just have to know how to hold abundance. That's all.
Beautiful. Thank you, Rochelle. Cornelia?
Yeah, I wanted to go into the same what Rochelle just said, because I was really struck again by this idea that Levi so beautifully shared, that it's the small things you can be grateful for in order to make this big shift in life. And I know where you're coming from, Reem. I totally understand that you see this limitations that is out there, but the limitation is actually in everybody's personal mind. And I guess that is something that I had to learn as well, that it was my own mind that kept me in this kind of limitation, because I actually, similar to what you were just sharing, I saw the limitation everywhere. There's not enough money, and if I have more, then somebody else is lacking. And I realized that this is not true, because when you look at nature and everything is really coming out of nature, and if you believe in a higher being or in a God or whatever, as I was saying, we don't know what your belief or religion is. There was never meant to be lack, but it is us that create that lack in our own being, in our own mind. And I started to shift myself by starting similar to what Andy said, about really starting with my body, to be just grateful for that. And if you can really feel that love and this gratefulness for every single thing your body does every single day for you, your heart that is beating, the breath that you're taking in, the blood that is flowing, the food that you have, something is shifting. And it shifted me totally by accepting that there is that there is abundance, and abundance is not about money. It's about what, how we feel about what nature has to provide us. And when we can tap into that, then everything will change. And as we know, when we think about energy, if only a certain percentage of people will start to believe in that, then everything will shift. But as long as we are holding into this sense of limitation, then it's like always, we need to have a certain amount of people believing in the same thing. And then if you are familiar with the Sheldrake's experience of the 100 monkeys, once you have enough people that believe in the same, then there is this big shift in the world happening. It has always been like that, and it will always be like that. So what can I do? And I ask you, what can you think for yourself? When you think what you really want, what could you do today to make that shift? What could you be grateful for right now that doesn't take away anything from anyone?
I mean, I guess I can say air, because that's what's keeping me alive, which, you know, most days is not something I want. So, but so I guess the other thing is like, everybody keeps talking about it's you. And I get that to a certain degree, but we are community animals. And when we see something happening to other people, it still affects us. So like right now, all of us on this planet are okay with what's going on with Russia and Ukraine. Yes, we as a society have created this environment that makes this okay. That's what I'm talking about. Is you're talking about shifting paradigms, and that if enough people are on board, but that's just it, is there are enough people that believe in a unity consciousness belief, but we still sit there and say that this world is never going to happen because there's too many other people involved or whatever. So it's like we have the people, most like when COVID first happened and everybody was unemployed, people were losing their houses, losing their jobs, not being able to eat and all of this stuff. People didn't want money. But the thing is when people bring up we can have a society without money, they're like, oh no, that can't happen. You have no money right now. You are complaining that you are about to lose your house and all of this stuff, and we're presenting an option that says no money, and you're saying no, we still need money. Like, that's what freaking like, we are so. And Levi was talking about he didn't want to be a victim, but he's not a victim. We created this and he just fell into the pieces. Him, like, I don't know.
May I respond to that? I'm sometimes see that what we are going through right now is for me a birthing of the new world. And the birth, having given birth to 3 children, is messy. It takes some time to go through the pregnancy. And then the birth itself can be really messy. There's blood involved, there is a lot of other things involved. And I see what's happening is actually the birth of something better and it is messy at the moment. The energy in the world is messy. I'm feeling that. But I know and I trust that this is just the beginning of something better. So sometimes we see only the moment. We don't see what is. If you get stuck in the pain that you're going through while you're giving birth, no mother would ever have a second child. But what you see then is the birth, and you see that little child that came out of it. And the moment you have your child in your hand, in your arms, you forgot these hours of pain. You only see what came out of that. And I guess this is what's happening right now. We are birthing something better, and what's happening is not pretty, and it's painful. And the suffering that people are going through is part of that. But I trust that this is what the earth needs right now in order to go to a better place. That's my personal belief. But I'm suffering with what's happening right now as well as so many others. So, but I trust that this is needed, and there might be things, people's lives lost. There might be a lot going on, but I trust that this is something, and the people that choose right now to be here are here for a reason. And we are all going through that together for one reason or another.
And that's one thing I struggle with, because it's like, if this is the way it's going to be, I know that the other side is better. Like, why am I still here?
Because you choose to.
Yeah, that choice is slowly disappearing.
Can I see if I understand you, Reem? Is it okay if I see if I understand you, Reem?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're at the moment in which you don't know if you want to be on this planet. You don't want to be on a planet in which there's so much suffering, and you don't want to suffer so much. And so it makes you question if you even want to be here. And it's hard to find things that are grateful for in a space in which there's so much hurt, and in which if you have more, it means less for others. You don't want to be in that system. And also you don't know the way out of it. The way out of the suffering isn't apparent to you. And so it seems like the way it is will continue to be this way. And it's frustrating, and it's uncomfortable, and it's not, I don't know the word to put to it, but it just isn't, it doesn't feel good at all. Yeah. Is that right? Did I understand you accurately? Is there more that you would share on that?
I'm sure there is more. Yeah. So, and it's not like I'm not trying to create wealth. Like, actually, the day after the money is due for Nepal is when I'm about to receive enough money to pay for the trip, which I'm not going on anymore, because I went into lack and scarcity because other people were affecting money that I was supposed to be getting. But yeah, it's like, I'm lonely. We are community animals, but no, like we say that we have communities, but I mean, maybe it's just I'm not a part of them. But even when I am part of communities, there aren't. I don't know. It's just that this. I don't know. I don't see the point.
Yeah, you feel like we're supposed to be community beings, but you don't know which community you belong to. And also, like, when you want something, it seems like it's not happening in the way that you want. Something like this.
Well, and a lot of the things that I want are only because this reality requires it. Like, I don't want money, but I want to eat. I want to have a roof over my head. Like, but I don't want to have to go out and prove myself every day to strangers that say, oh, you're worthy enough. I'm going to give you some money now.
Yeah. And so there's this kind of like frustration of, why am I in this system that doesn't feel good? Doing things I don't want to do so that I can survive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I just wish I could hold you for as long as we wanted. We could just cry for as long as we want. Yeah, that's it's a heavy place to be,
People only call me when they want something. In general, nobody contacts me. So it's like And people are like, oh, Reem, if you're suicidal, make sure you call me. Why the fuck would I call you when you don't even communicate me any other time of the day unless you fucking want something from me? Sorry.
What do you want? What would you say is what do you want?
I want a world that is abundance for everybody.
Yeah, you want a world that's abundance for everyone, that your abundance doesn't take away from others, but even contributes to others.
In a society where anything that I do positively affects somebody else. Whereas now, most, I don't want to say most, a lot of things people do have a negative effect on somebody else.
Yeah. And Dr. Ram, he would talk about how, like I gave the example of that very wealthy person in Europe, that he had so much money, but it was created in a toxic way that his own kids and grandkids, he even knew himself, he said to Dr. Ram, don't make the same mistakes as me. And a big part of what Dr. Ram spent 10 years sharing with me, I haven't even shared with anyone yet, but it's about the ancient secrets for creating long-term, predictable, non-toxic success, you know, in which abundance comes that doesn't, it's not at the expense of the planet, for instance. It's not at the expense of our health. It's not at the expense of each other. And I think maybe it's getting close to time that, you know, we can start exploring some of these things and sharing them together. I'd love for you to be a part of it, and I'd love to learn from you. I want to honor your spirit's, first of all, your strength. I see strength in you. And I see courage in you. First of all, the courage to share so vulnerably, and strength to be clear that something's not acceptable. You know, that, oh, I don't want my life, and I don't want the world to be this way anymore. And I think that is one thing that can spark change. It can spark meaningful change. And so thank you for being that. And for honoring, part of honoring yourself isn't saying, yeah, I just accept everything is good. Part of honoring yourself is, no, something is not right here. I know it. And I don't want to live in the world like this. You know, I don't want to live on in a space in which this is the existing reality. It doesn't feel good. So thank you. I want to thank you for that. And I want to say I have a lot I can learn from you, and I'm excited to learn more from you as you are experiencing your journey. And I'm so glad that you've connected here in this space and shared your heart in this way, because it's what's real. You know, it's what's real for you. And it's important, not only for you, but for all of us. I mean, the things that you're raising are critical for survival of the species, actually, according to me. Now, in another level, there is not that. And in this level, there is, you know? And so thank you for that. I don't know if are you open to do possible experiment with me?
Okay.
Okay, so you and me can do this experiment together. Okay. And actually, I was triggered by something Levi shared, that it's still like impacting me and reverberating in me, where he's like, it's just as easy to be grateful as it is to be irritated. And I'm like, really? You know, how can that be? You know? So when I think about, yeah, I don't like the way the world is either. You know, I don't like the way the world is in many ways. And so I guess the experiment that I'm curious about doing is, there's two ways, maybe two possible scenarios in which we can enact change and discover more our role in that. And honestly, I don't have any judgment about either of them. One of them is we can be real irritated and real frustrated And then I think that it's a tool of change, actually. You look at some of the revolutionaries throughout time, they were irritated, you know, they were frustrated, like they're revolutionaries, you know, like this isn't the way that humans should exist on the planet. And so they enacted change through that frustration and through that irritation. And that's a perfectly acceptable way for many people to follow their path. And I want to do an experiment. I'm curious, like I'm really curious. Like, what if it's true, I'm still experimenting with this, but if it's true that it's as easy to be grateful as it is to be irritated, then what's something I could be grateful for that would enact that same change that I want, that you and I both want to see? We want to see non-toxic success. We don't want to see people accumulating piles of, you know, capital at the expense of the earth and at the expense of other humans, you know, in a toxic way. We want to see it done in a healthy way. So when I ask myself this question, I'll ask you it too, is, okay, what's a different experiment I could do? And something that just popped in my mind is, what if I can be grateful that I can be part of the change on the planet? You know, like I can be joining with my sister Reem, who's a powerful, dynamic, beautiful soul. And wow, I can be grateful I'm with her on this journey, you know, and we've been born now, so we can do this thing. You know, maybe I can be grateful that, okay, I'm grateful the world is this way, so that way I can be a part of something new. You know, I don't know, I'm just brainstorming here, but how does that feel to you? Is there anything that you could connect with on that level, where just for like a day or half a day, you know, or 1 hour, we can do an experiment of like, okay, what if I can I still want that change in my own personal life and in the world, but I can do it from being irritated, or I can do it from being grateful. But what's something that I could be grateful for that would lead to that result? You know, I don't know. I don't have an answer. It's a question, but is there anything that comes to you that could be like in that sphere that we could do an experiment together?
Well, I do, like, occasionally I'll shift and I'll be like, well, you know, like when I'm like, oh, well, why are you here? And it's like, well, because you're going to help change the planet. And it's like, well, I don't know what to do. And I'm just so angry that you can't get messages across when you're angry, because like I'm fucking pissed off at everybody. Like it feels like I'm being attacked. Like nobody gives a shit about me, because everybody's just trying to like fix themselves. Like you can't fix yourself if you're not, if you ultimately, you know that we're connected. If you're not helping other people, then you're not helping yourself. And so, yes, we do need to help ourselves, but we've like, this personal development has totally shifted, and we talk about, oh no, it's not selfish to like think of yourself. Yeah, the fuck it is, to a degree. Like we've taken it to the other extreme, where we're now just saying, nah, screw everybody else, it's only about me. And that's where like, yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. So you're tapping into like, you know, yeah, if I'm here for a reason, super, but also it shouldn't just be a selfish reason. It should be about contributing to others, because we're all connected, you know? Yeah. And then also when you're trying to get that across, sometimes this is what I heard from you, and you can correct me. Sometimes if you're trying to get that across in a way that's angry or coming from anger, it's not so well received by other people.
My pita is very strong.
Yeah, beautiful. Well,
Sarah calls me her spicy. She calls me a spicy nun, because she says I have a heart of gold, but I'm very, very spicy.
you know, I heard I was with one person 2 days ago, and this mother, her daughters are all almost grown and out of the house, and one of her daughters came to her and she said, "Mom, I think and she said the B word. Okay, I'm trying not to swear, but you guys know what I mean. She said, "Mom, I think I'm a B, you know, like this." And her mom's like, "Well, what? Tell me about that. Why?" And she's like sharing all the ways in which she gets frustrated, upset, angry, this. And her mom, in her wisdom, was so beautiful. She's like, "I love that part of you." You know, I love that part of you, because that's one part of you that can help keep you safe on this planet and help make change, you know? And she's like, now all of you isn't that, but I also don't want you to squash that part of you, because it's so powerful, you know, and it's such a dynamic part of who you are. And so honey, let's make sure that you give her a job. You know, what if we can give that part of you a job? So she doesn't take over the whole show, you know, but she has her job that she does, you know. And so, you know, for that part of you, Reem, it's so powerful. It's so beautiful to watch you. Honestly, it's such a gift. Thank you for sharing. And what if we can give that part of you a job, and then also you can, you know, all the other parts of you can come out to play as well, you know. Yeah.
It definitely needs a job because it's definitely being destructive.
Yeah, and not to be shamed or made wrong. You know, it's good. This is part of you. It's a part of all of us. You know, it's courage and strength in a lot of ways. And then also, you know, to do this experiment, coming back to this, like what, according to you, Reem, what's an experiment that we could do that would feel really good to you? Some experiment that a game we could play or experiment we could do for this next day or this next week. Something we could do that maybe would provide a different possibility of a different experience that could also produce really good results.
Well, what's the goal other than positive result?
Well, let's say even like, so this is, we want to have it so there's abundance for us that is non-toxic, you know, and it can create abundance for everyone, right? So this is one of the things, and like we can achieve that. I don't know, maybe there's all kinds of different ways we can move towards that. But so like, for instance, the experiment that I was thinking of is I can be irritated that it's not that way and push towards it. And sometimes pain and irritation, it is a gift because it moves us, you know? So I don't ever say pain is bad or sad is bad or irritated is bad or anger is bad. No, they all can move us, you know? And if we want to continue in that space, we can see, does this produce the result we want? And also we can step out of it for maybe like a day or a week and do an experiment of, what if I can switch it a little bit? And what if it's as easy to be grateful as it is to be irritated? And what if I can be grateful that I'm going to be part of the solution for finding how abundance can come for me and for everyone simultaneously? What if I can be grateful that I can identify ways that I can create abundance that it just feels like joyful, you know? And I know it contributes to everyone on this planet. You know, like, and then together, you and I, we can have some calls this week and we can brainstorm, what would that look like? You know, how can we play this game, this new game, you know, and we see what happens when we play this game. How does it change us, physical, mental, emotional? How does it change those around us? How does it change our community? You know, I would love to brainstorm this with you. I'd love to feel into this and see, you know, what can we do in this space that would really make really feel good, you know? Does that feel like a possible option? And maybe anyone else on this call that is listening can join if they feel like they also want to play a game with us. You know, does that feel good?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So let's set that time, and in the newsletter we'll let other people know that we're going to play this game. And then it's a game of basically non-toxic abundance or non-toxic. I don't know. We'll have to come with a name of the game, you know. And then we come up with different ways we can play the game. And I would love to play the game. I know actually many people that would want to play. Actually, just curious, those on this call that are listening, you know, anyone want to play this game with us? I'm figuring out, I see Cornelia, Alicia. Okay, good. So many people want to play. Abhinav, fantastic. Good. So anyone who wants to is welcome, but we'll start at least, Reem, with you, me, and whoever in this space wants to play that game. Does that feel good?
Yes.
Okay, good. I love you, Reem. I love you, and I'm with you so much. I'm so grateful for you. Just I'm trying to reach around and get.
I know. I wish I was coming.
There's also still possibilities for that too. Everything is flexible and possible. So let's talk more about that as well. All right. I'm going to go into some of the breakout rooms if there's still any that are happening, but I just want to say thank you everyone who's been still in this space. Those who are watching, I just noticed we're still recording. So anyone watching on Facebook, thank you for joining us on this sacred journey. Love you, and I'm with you, and I'll stop that recording now.